Well, hello, baseball fans. You are right into the fire there on a strike three and then throw down to first to get the final out of the first inning. We had some minor technical difficulties, so we are coming to you a little bit late, and we can recap things and greet you for our first home game at Fox Field in 2024. The defending national champions are back at home. The boys are back in town. Lynchburg baseball, Kyle Haney and my tag team partner off the top rope, Evan Gates. Evan, we didn't get to do our wonderful intro that we had all scripted out, so we just got to say hello, and then we can recap the first half inning here at Fox.
Well, listen, that's kind of keeping us on our toes a little bit, game one, and I think it's a pretty good thing because if you watched last year with Lynchburg at home, it seemed like it was pretty much certain in the other categories that they were going to punch a W. Kyle, it has been a crazy offseason just thinking back to what happened last year, and anytime you're a defending champion, you're going to get everybody's best. 5 ranked opponents in the top 12 for the first 6.
Lynchburg does come in at 4-2 against those 5 ranked opponents. They lost the first game of the season to East Texas Baptist, and then they won 4 in a row, and they've most recently lost last weekend to Cortland. But back in action here today against York College, who has not played this season. Game 1 of 40 for York. They're off to a flying start with 2 runs on the board there in the top of the first, Evan. And just a quick recap, Wes Arrington starting for Lynchburg. Struck out 3 in the inning, but the problem was on strikeout number 2, where Sean Pokerock picked it up and threw to third instead of going down to first. Here is another look. Yes, we had the cameras going. That was actually punch out number 1 for Wes Arrington, who looks like he's got the good sheriff stuff that we're used to. There's a double in the left center gap from Robbie Elzinga, and then it was Michael Teneni with a triple that ended up, there's the play right there that we were talking about, where Pokerock, if he goes down to first, inning is probably over, assuming a good throw anyway, Evan. And the triple there, plated 2. They will both be unearned, but on the scoreboard, that doesn't matter. York College with a 2-0 lead. And now we get to see our first look at Lynchburg's offense. It'll be Brandon Garcia leading off. And yes, Evan, we'll be talking about this game and talking about last year and talking about the first 6 games. There's a lot to talk about. And we've got a double dip tomorrow. We'll have 2 tomorrow, so we'll have to save some of these conversation points for tomorrow. But we're already underway here, and we're glad you are watching on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Well, I think it's a good thing we start the year with 3 games, have a little bit of a mini conference to discuss everything that's going on because you got new additions, not only freshmen, but transfers. We know you're going to see O'Kelly McWilliams batting next, one of the guys who's been a stud addition for the Hornets, and then it's just about confidence. How many returners can you have back in form from last year?
One of those returners has flown out to center for the first out of the bottom of the first. So Brandon Garcia, the shortstop, is down with a fly ball to center, and it is O'Kelly McWilliams, the 4th, batting second, playing center field. Let me just run through the rest of the lineup here, Evan. It'll be Ben Jones playing second, batting third. Eric Hyatt is at first in the cleanup spot. Bryce Demery in left, batting 5th. Gavin Collins is playing third and hitting 6th. Riley O'Donovan will be the DH today in the 7 spot. Logan Webster in right field in the 8 hole, and then the catcher, Sean Pokerock, rounding out the order. They are facing Bryce Schaefer. He is a junior from Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, taking the ball in game number 1 for the York College Spartans.
Well, York brings back their top 2 starters from last year, too, in Schaefer and Brandon Purdy. Might we see him tomorrow? You'd have to assume so. But you just think about guys who combined for 100 innings, and that really gets your coaches trusting what this is all about, especially when you have guys like Robbie Elzinga back on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, York returns a lot. This is going to be a really good test for Lynchburg. York is not ranked like 5 of those first 6 opponents, Evan, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be a pushover. And if you look at York's schedule, they've got some meat grinders. I'm sure you've looked at that. The Spartans are loaded up. They are expecting big things. Ground ball right side. You see the speed from McWilliams as he nearly beat out a routine ground ball to the second baseman, but that is what O'Kelly McWilliams will bring to the table, among other things. He has elite speed, and here comes a guy with elite power. It is number 21, Ben Jones, stepping in with 2 down in the bottom of the first.
Well, we know from last year the big moment, the homer in Game 3 against Johns Hopkins. Something I'm curious to see from Ben this season, can he get the walks that Avery Neves got last year? And you're not trying to compare Neves to Jones. You know, there's a lot of time in between that. But when you see Ben in that 3-hole, especially behind two guys who can steal bases in Garcia and McWilliams, you have to think that he's going to get a lot of pitches to hit. Just got to capitalize.
Ben Jones has drawn 8 walks to begin this season. He's been hit twice as well, Evan. So the batting average just 167 for Benny Bombs, but if you look at the on-base percentage, it's nearly at 500 because he is drawing those free passes. Take a good hard rip at that and foul it back into the catcher's glove. But yeah, Ben Jones, we were talking with Brady Moore, the director of baseball analytics, talking about the walk percentage for Ben Jones, right around 28% so far this season. It's a fastball upstairs for a guy who really does know the zone at a very high level. You don't draw those walks without having the discipline, strike zone awareness, knows his zone too. It's not always a question of the strike zone, it's what he wants to go after. And Jones will foul this one to the left side. Third baseman gave chase briefly, but it's out of play here at Fox Field. A sunny Saturday. When we woke up, it was still raining, and then it turned into one of those light rains, and then it was a mist, and then it was finally the sun broke free, and things are drying up pretty quickly. We have had some rain in Central Virginia already this week. Infield seems to be playing perfect, Evan. Outfield still a little soggy as Ben Jones will foul another one away. It looks like we've got a great day to play 2 tomorrow. Should be upper 60s tomorrow.
Welcome to Virginia in the March season, in the spring season almost. I mean, it's going to be at least 30 degrees in a couple weeks going this spring.
Right. We'll have 60s and 70s the opening weekend here, and then we'll get an April or a May game, yeah, where it's 35 out there somehow for baseball. Yeah, it's just like you said, March and spring, late winter in Virginia.
Well, we know the lacrosse team too. They've been having hailstorms and rainstorms, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes. It'll change. That's the old line there. Wind blowing slightly in here as Ben Jones gives us a long at bat to discuss meteorology and other things as well. But the field is in good shape overall. Evan, some off-season improvements and even more to come between this year and next year, and that's another talking point we can save for further on down the road here. Another payoff pitch, and that hits the edge. It looked like an off-speed pitch from Bryce Schaefer to get Ben Jones out looking, and Lynchburg is down in order in the bottom of the first. Hornets trail 2-0 going to the top of the second. We'll step aside and catch our breath here. We're back in just a moment on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Top of the second in Fox Field. Evan Gates and Kyle Haney, and another edition of Lynchburg baseball back in the Hill City for the first time this year. Last year, a 56-game campaign to go to the national championship. You think about some of these freshmen that have really inspired some good performances. Think about Brandon Garcia and Ben Jones at the top of the lineup. You look all through the bullpen. 56 games, that helps experience.
It sure does. You play a lot, and you get to use a lot of different names. You mentioned that bullpen. We'll see some folks this weekend. You know, early season baseball, you're going to have to lean on that bullpen, Evan, so that will be interesting to see how Lynchburg uses that. Chris Bettler with a ground ball through the right side. That is actually the third hit of the game for York. It's their first single, and a double and a triple in that first inning. So Lynchburg defensively has their back to the wall slightly again here as Hyatt holds the runner on at first. Arrington from the stretch all the time, even with nobody on base. So that he won't feel much discomfort with a runner out there. And Evan, we can talk about Wes Arrington's start to the season. You touched on it briefly. He's gotten the ball against two really tough teams, Salisbury and East Texas Baptist. Arrington is the true number one for this ball club, so that'll happen a lot. He'll get the ball in game one of the series, or the start of whatever's going on. It could be a tournament situation that Arrington takes that ball first again, and you get a strikeout looking there on Garrett Kyle. That's out number one of the top of the second inning.
Well, and with West, too, you think about the amount of situations he has been in now, and you open the season with those two teams. I think for him it's just about staying composed and confident at the top of this rotation, because you don't have Zach Potts and Brandon Pond now to be in that mix, and so it's really next man up mentality. Yeah, Lynchburg has lots of pitchers who can get it done, but just got to stay balanced.
Chopper left side. Gavin Collins only has one place to go. That's across the diamond to first. He does get out number two with a strong throw. And the top of the lineup is back with Lucas Pendergast. He bounced out to the shortstop in his first at bat. You missed that because of our technical difficulties, but we're back now. There's two outs in what is appearing to be a smoother inning for Wes Arrington. He has struck out 4. We know Wes is a power guy. The Sheriff in his career has 134 strikeouts. Backhand play from Garcia. Strong throw across the diamond. Hollywood got him to end the top of the second, and Lynchburg does get out of the inning without surrendering any runs. One base hit for York, one left on. Let's see if the Hornets can answer with the sticks in the bottom half of the second inning. It's coming up next on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Kyle and Evan and a cast of thousands up here in the press box at Fox Field. So nice to be back at James C. Fox Field, Evan. We had that little stealth LHSN on the road broadcast down in Greensboro. You said you watched that. You said it sounded good.
We did.
That was against Salisbury last week, last Friday. That was a big win for Lynchburg there. Wes Arrington on the mound with the win.
I think any chance you get to go down to Carolina, keep it close, you got to go call it.
Yeah, baseball, man, I'll go anywhere. I'll go north.
That's a good ballpark, too.
It is. We had a great time down there, great setting for baseball. And Lynchburg with 2 wins there. I think you got to feel pretty good about that, don't you, Evan? I mean, you have your standard. You want to win every game. But in reality, you know it's baseball, and you know that's probably not possible. So to take 2 of 3 in a neutral setting against 3 ranked teams, a game Lynchburg lost, went into extra innings. It was a very close game there. It's not like the Hornets got blown out. So all in all, I think Lynchburg feels like they're in a pretty good spot to open up this 2024 campaign.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, think about this, too. You're still trying to hammer down this lineup in certain spots on the field. And so to be able to win and still have some of those question marks, I think you got to feel really good, especially if you're Coach Beasley in your first true season as head coach.
Sure. Coach Travis Beasley, if you don't know, is the new head coach. He was the associate head coach previously, of course, and he has switched roles with the new associate head coach, Lucas Jones. Some well-documented issues in the offseason. Issues not even the right word, Evan, but if you want to learn more about the coaching situation, the information is out there. It's on the Lynchburg website, and we do encourage you to check that out, lynchburgsports.com. Strike one to Bryce Demery. Here's one of those new faces for Lynchburg, who was on the ball club last year, did not play much, still a very important role on the team. But, yeah, just 2 games played last year. This year, Bryce Demery has turned out to be a fixture in the lineup for Lynchburg, and really a fixture in the middle of the lineup here, hitting 5th with Eric Hyatt on first with the walk.
Well, you'll see him in the outfield and two-way player where you're going to see a few pitching opportunities for him as well. Lynchburg doesn't have a lot of two-way players who do it as opposed to other teams.
Base hit down the third base line. See if Hyatt can go first to third. He will not. Stop sign came out early, and it's just a single, but a sharp one for Bryce Demery. It's the first hit of the ball game for Lynchburg. 2 base runners on here, and the Hornets are threatening in the bottom of the second with Gavin Collins. Gavin Collins did play a lot last year, and he has played a lot in his career. 147 career hits for Gavin Collins. So he'll be closing in on that 150 mark, and if you're a Lynchburg fan, you'd like to just go ahead and get those 3 in this game here against York, and this is a great time to do it with Lynchburg. Runners on first and second. Could be sack bunt in play here, potentially, Evan.
Well,
Riley O'Donovan is on deck, excuse me.
Well, good start with station to station, too, and no outs. You've seen this so many times from Lynchburg. Gavin's a guy who can do a little bit of everything in the middle of the lineup.
Looked like a fastball that just missed inside. Catcher actually got some confirmation with the umpire as far as where that ball did miss. But it's ball 1 to Gavin Collins. Bryce Demery leads off at first. Eric Hyatt at second. First baseman playing behind Demery. Third baseman is even with the grass, kind of in a modified bunt coverage situation, but Collins showed no signs of trying to lay down a short one there, so it looks like it's hit away for Gavin Collins, and it's a 2-0 count against the starter, Bryce Schaefer, who looked good in inning 1 for York, struggling just a bit with 2 on and nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Schaefer holds, delivers. Collins wanted that, but missed it. Infield fly rule situation, even with the second baseman back on the outfield grass. The umpire can still call that. He did. Collins is out, F4 in the scorebook. And here comes that designated hitter, Riley O'Donovan.
Well, that's big for Schaefer. You want to punch out or a pop-up in that situation, trying to keep Lynchburg at bay. But Riley O'Donovan, he's a guy who can strike quick, homer already this season. So, you know, he is comfortable swinging when he gets the pitch he wants.
Another guy with a very long resume. We could spend the entire weekend talking about some of these career stat lines for guys like Gavin Collins and Riley O'Donovan. O'Donovan takes strike 1 there at the bottom of the zone, 0-1 count for Schaefer. O'Donovan comes into the game this season hitting .417. It's actually the average leader for Lynchburg. Line drive left side, snared by the shortstop. Good play. They get the first one. They get the second one. York College surrendered a few base runners, but some savvy defense will get them out of the inning unscathed. A hard one by O'Donovan right at the shortstop. Watch that little backhand snare on target with the first feed. Second one, no problem to get out number 3. And Lynchburg still not on the board through 2 complete. York College coming up in the top of the third. We're live from Fox Field on the campus of the University of Lynchburg.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Look what you're missing!
Sophomore designated hitter Dawson Shelley leads off for York College. Struck out in his first at bat. It'll be 2, 3, 4 due up in the top of the third. York still facing the Sheriff, the starter, number 45, Wesley Arrington. Early contact, ground ball. Gavin Collins takes it out of the sky, flips it across the diamond for out number 1. First pitch swinging there for Dawson Shelley, and that'll bring up Robbie Elzinga, who really got that first inning started with the 2-out double. Evan, he is a dangerous hitter. He's another one that is like some of these guys from Lynchburg, where the career stats are really good for Elzinga. There's a reason why he's batting third for the Spartan Ball Club.
Well, further reason why you love one and done on the first pitch of the inning. Wes is going to have 2, 3, 4 a lot this year. You just think about starting pitchers with the way the rotations end up winding up, but I think he has just seen so many batters at this point. You know how to really face these guys and not work around them.
One hopper to Ben Jones, scoop throw, and there we go. It's 3 pitches in the inning, and Wes Arrington has already picked up 2 outs. So, yeah, like you said, Wesley Arrington's faced so many good hitters and good teams in his career. And he knows how to pitch. He understands it. He understands how to use the game plan and the scouting report. The other side of that coin is teams have got a lot of data on Wesley Arrington. He's not an unknown. He's a proven commodity. So he brings the slider across for strike 1. So that they'll know how to attack Arrington, and that could be the reason for the early swings, especially second time through the lineup, Evan. Guys have got what they think is a pretty good look on you. Maybe they are ready to hack first or second pitch.
That's what makes you go from good to great as a pitcher. It's when you show them your stuff and you say, here it is, hit it, and they still can't catch up. You think about Collins in that opening game where Lynchburg gets no hit. One of those guys who's just going to make you work for every pitch that he gives, and those are the teams that really find success with pitchers up front.
Yeah, Lynchburg offensively can grind a pitcher down with the way they take the walks. They'll take the hit by pitch. They'll use the singles. Not too many extra base hits this season so far for Lynchburg. That was one of our big talking points last year, was extra base hits, doubles, triples, homers. So not many of those yet for Lynchburg, just 6, I think, 4 doubles and 2 homers. But they'll come. It's early in the season, and Lynchburg has, as we said, faced that great competition. Strike 3 swinging. Pokerock got him on the tag, and it is a clean inning. 3 up, 3 down. The Sheriff strides back to the dugout. He's struck out 5. Lynchburg has yet to get a run across, though. Let's see if the Hornets can do that coming up in the bottom of the third from Fox Field in Lynchburg. Yes, we are at the home of the 2023 national champions. The dream season last year for Lynchburg. The dream was real, and we've got the banner to prove it, and some other hardware as well. Some of the hardware is up here in the press box with us, Evan.
Makes us feel pretty good about ourselves.
It does. It does. It is very, very cool. And, yes, we encourage you to revisit that dream season as often as you like. We certainly do, and we will in the conversations. I mean, you can't do something like that and then just not talk about it the next year. I know everybody's got the you got to stay in the present mentality and this kind of thing, but you can't not discuss it some.
Well, that would be pretty disappointing.
If you're right, if you could never bring it up again, yeah.
And you are a man who doesn't like to give yourself the full credit, but we need to commend you on a trip to Iowa because I know there were a lot of Hornet fans behind that trip, behind the wins. goodness. Like you said, it was like a fairy tale.
It was. It really was. In some ways, it's still kind of hard to wrap your head around just what Lynchburg did. It really is. But we'll use this season to try to wrap our heads around it. This Logan Webster is batting 8th and leading off the bottom of the 3rd here. Ground ball up the middle. Could end up being a tough play. High hop picked up out there by Michael Teneni, and that's the first out of the 3rd inning, bottom of the 3rd.
It's that second hop that can be a little scary, especially coming off the grass, but that one stays on the dirt a little easier to put away.
That's an excellent point, though, about that second hop, or maybe it is just the first hop on the dirt. That can play tricks with you as an infielder. Great analysis by you, Evan. And it is a York team. It's their first game. So, yeah, they've been practicing, obviously, but their infield is not going to play exactly the same as when they go on the road like this Fox Field infield does.
Well, we saw York here last year at the beginning of the season, but it's a little different when you get number 5 in the nation for your first few games because, yeah, you have a lot of people returning, but that doesn't always translate to the first few performances. But so far, I think they feel really good getting that 2 on the scoreboard early.
Yeah, early baseball is so tricky. You don't really want to judge a team by what they do early because your hitters haven't seen a ton of live pitching, because your pitchers haven't worked maybe with the same stress level out there on a foreign mound in front of a different crowd and on the road, all those things. Sean Pokerock will lash one. That ball hit the ground, so the third baseman will have to chunk it over to the first sack, and they do that successfully for out number 2 of the inning. A good sharp contact by Webster and Pokerock. Evan, Lynchburg still with not much to show run-wise, but it looks like the batters are swinging it well and seeing it well.
Well, one time through the lineup now, too, and I think these guys up front are really going to feel comfortable with their contact. And Garcia, righty on lefty matchup here, an opportunity to deliver with 2 outs.
Brandon Garcia flew out to center in his first at bat. He may pop out to the catcher here. Oh, that ball jumps out of the mitt. Garrett Kyle was under it. Those catcher pop-ups are one of the more difficult plays in the game. And I know Garrett Kyle would probably tell you, if it hits my mitt, I should have it. But it's just a foul ball in this case, as Brandon Garcia trying to work to stay on top of the ball a bit more, at least cut it in half and get a line drive. 0-1 count. Bryce Schaefer, the starter, still out there for York. Garcia will get better contact on this. Lifted in the right center gap. That is going to be perfectly placed and down for a double. Garcia will cruise into second base, stand up, helmet came off, and there's a new celebration this season for Brandon Garcia. I thought he might go with the 7-iron celebration.
I thought so, too.
Evan, but
I
that
was
like,
waiting.
what was that? It was like a lunge into an elbow point down at the dugout there. And, hey, it's Lynchburg's 7th extra base hit of the season.
Well, when you see the ball pop out of the mitt, too, for the catcher, you just feel like sometimes those plays are the ones that come back to haunt you. You think about though Kelly McWilliams does something here, he can maybe even tie this ball game. Those are really tough, especially against top teams.
That is so true by you. Against those good teams, the margin for error is so thin, so small. So you do have to make the most of those opportunities. McWilliams going to show the bunt. Garcia got caught in no man's land but was able to hustle back as second baseman couldn't cover the bag in time. That is a strike. McWilliams offered at that one with the bunt. Already have mentioned his speed, so the base hit bunting will be part of his game. As you see the third baseman just march into the grass to try to take that away. That's a tough no man's land for a third baseman when you add the runner on second, Evan, especially a runner that can steal. There's a breaking ball that did not break. McWilliams wears it. Hit by pitch will give Lynchburg their 4th runner of the game. 2 on with 2 outs for Benny Bombs, number 21, Benton Jones, stepping into the batter's box.
Well, Kyle, you know I'm an A's fan. We're not going to bring it up that many times this year. But Kelly McWilliams reminds me of another 6-foot right-handed center fielder in the league by the name of S.J. Ruiz. And it just seems like what he needs to do this season, if he can hit and just get on base, he is going to be respected every time he's on the base pass. It's just, can he get the production behind it?
Ball off the end of the bat for Ben Jones. This is going to be a tough play. It's down. Brandon Garcia will take the turn. He's in home safely. McWilliams sliding feet first into third, and it's a stand-up double for Ben Jones. 1 run on the board there. 2 outs, so Brandon Garcia did not have to wait to see if that ball was going to be caught. McWilliams also with some solid base running to go first to third. You were just talking about his speed, and Lynchburg is on the board. They have cut the deficit in half. Hit number 2 ends up being just a bloop single for Ben Jones, but at this point he will take it, and Lynchburg will take it with a chance to do more damage. 2 in scoring position for the junior Eric Hyatt.
3 straight on base, and now you got the cleanup at the plate. That's never a fun question to answer.
Hyatt was ready for the first one, looked to be low and away, and he fouls it off. Yeah, good phrasing there, because this Lynchburg offense, they pose so many questions to a pitcher and a defense. If you throw strikes, how are you going to keep us from getting base hits and hitting line drives? If you don't throw strikes, Lynchburg will take the walks. They'll take the hit by pitch.
That's why the middle of the lineup is so crucial, too, because when you can't avoid anybody, especially up front, that's what the good teams really make you pay on. It's when you have a 5, 6, 7 guy who's going to go out and still get base hits like we did last year.
I would argue Webster and Pokerock they started this inning getting out, but they hit the ball hard. I would argue maybe that gives the rest of the lineup some confidence as well.
Absolutely.
Even in an out, you can build something off that. As Hyatt sprays one into the visitors' bullpen, that's a foul ball. He'll hit with 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. Lynchburg trailing 2-1, but they are on the board here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
No stranger to RBIs in big situations, 10 in the NCAA tournament. And you think about Jorman's injury in the ODAC tournament, what a role Eric Hyatt played, just being able to be consistent, let the Hornets do their thing.
Yeah, it was impressive. Those 10 runs driven in were the most on the team in that span there, the stretch in Cedar Rapids during the College World Series. The NCAA actually doesn't like the term College World Series for the D3. That's reserved for the D1 guys, but that's, again, another conversation for another day here.
There were 8 teams there.
There
right?
were, I know, right? It's interesting. Hyatt will foul another one off. Well, if it was basketball, we'd call it the Elite 8.
That's right.
But you don't call it that. Basketball's the only one. Although, didn't they call it the Elite 8 in field hockey this year when
I think they
Lynchburg, because the Lynchburg field hockey team reached the Elite 8.
It's a good thing to know because it means Lynchburg got pretty far.
There you go. Right. It's a good thing to get used to saying and have to figure out. Do we call this the Elite 8 or not? Another 2-strike delivery coming up to the junior, Eric Hyatt. That one nearly nipped his thigh, but just a ball, and now the count is full.
Hit by pitch last year was something we started talking about. Think about Cam Lane the most as a Hornet, and it just shows the respect and the command of the plate they demand when they're in situations that they can be patient at the plate, work the counts full.
It is a full count here with 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Here's a pitch to Hyatt. Ball low. That's a walk. Lynchburg has taken 2 of those, both from that man, number 5, Eric Hyatt. And now the bases are loaded for Bryce Demery. All he's done is gone 1 for 1 this game. It's singled down the third baseline. Bryce Demery enters the contest, hitting .259. 8 hits in the season so far. Driven in just 1 for Bryce Demery, but a base hit here would plate at least that and maybe more.
Confidence at this stage of the season. How big would that be?
Ball got under the catcher, but McWilliams, not a great read. Couldn't see it initially, I think, when it snuck under the glove. And discretion, the better part of valor there. Better safe than sorry, if you will, as York is going to go take a mound visit to try to settle their starter, Bryce Schaefer, who looked good early, but we've spent the entire inning talking about how Lynchburg offensively can make a pitcher look bad really quickly.
You never know when it's going to happen either. And like we said early, I mean, you have a chance to get out of this 3rd inning and still have a 0 on the scoreboard. Now you got bases loaded, chance to see a very different ball game. Lynchburg did that a lot last year, too. It was always that 1 inning where you're getting on your scorecard trying to make extra space because they've gone around. Think about Bryce Demery here, too. He's not going to force anything. If he can just stay patient and force Schaefer to make the pitches, then you have to think the Hornets are going to get that 1 pitch to hit.
Good shot at the Lynchburg dugout there from the LHSN team. Just confident and calm always in a game. I've said there's no panic button ever in the Lynchburg dugout, and they exemplified that last season. Like you said, a lot of big innings for Lynchburg. I think that helps your confidence. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Demery. Swings on it, belted to center. Center fielder has a play just in front of the warning track. Good grab there by Robbie Elzinga to end the threat and end the inning. Demery got a lot of it, but instead it's just an F8 for Lynchburg. They do score, though. Hornets now trail 2-1 through 3 complete here at Fox Field on LHSN.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Lynchburg scores 1 run on 2 hits. They leave 3 on, but the Hornets do cut the deficit in half, and the Sheriff is back. Number 45 to the mound here for Lynchburg in the top of the 4th inning. Just a little bit of stirring in the Lynchburg bullpen. Here's another first pitch swinging, though. Gavin Collins will gobble it up on the run, throws, and gets out number 1. So that'll help Wes Harrington keep the pitch count down and stay out for a while. Early count swings here from York College. The second time through the lineup, Evan, that theme continues in the first out.
Well, again, those short outs are big time at this stage of the ball game, and Wes is not a stranger to having to wait a long time in the dugouts, too. We talked a little bit about Salisbury, some of those extended innings for Lynchburg's offense. You just got to really make sure you stay in the right mindset going back out.
So true. I think with an elite athlete like Wesley Arrington, I'll throw him in that category. You're right, it is. The physical's not going to be the problem. It's not going to take him long to get loose. It is more that mental mindset. Can you stay focused in there? So that is certainly a thought process as Connor Pickle takes the first pitch wide for ball 1. Good mix of right and left in this lineup. You mentioned that. It may have been when we were during a commercial break, but it's a good balance here for York. It's a lot to like about this Spartan ball club. They currently hold the 2-1 advantage.
Well, interesting enough, too, McWilliams shaded left and center against that lefty batter. You're going to see that a few times, too. Obviously, every tendency is different. You got the analytics, but I'd be very curious to see, especially some of the shift rules at the professional level now. It's just you start paying attention to it.
You do. And I wonder if college teams, as there's a ground ball up the middle, Brandon Garcia will not get to that. That's clean single. And the first hit in a while, first hit since the first batter in inning 2 for York College. Chris Bettler did get one of those singles for York, and he returns to the plate here. The junior is 1-1. But, yeah, just back to the shift briefly. I mean, I just wonder if college teams should do it more, because if something is so effective that the big leagues make a rule to take it away, does that mean that other people should be trying to do it? I don't know. I mean, each coach is different.
I like that thinking. It means it's doing something
right.
If you take it away.
That's that, and you know, maybe it's not a fair comparison, as Arrington will get first pitch swinging with his slider. Maybe it's not a fair comparison because you have so many more data points there at the big league level with 162, right? It's just, even in the minors, the information you get on guys then. I mean, they're playing. I guess they're down to like 140 right now, but still, it's a lot of baseball.
Well, and everybody talks about keeping the athleticism and just the skill sets of the game, making players get those big defensive stops, but I just think that there's so much more from a coaching standpoint to where you can earn some of those plays, and you can't feel bad for putting your players in the right spot for some of those.
Sure, yeah. If the information and the data says a guy pulls it 90% of the time, wouldn't you be a fool not to put your players right there? As Arrington bounces one in, Pokerock picked it, made a strong throw. Did they get him? Umpire's looking to see if Ben Jones has the ball. He does. That is a caught stealing there for Sean Pokerock. It was not a straight steal, I don't believe. Pickle saw the ball in the dirt, thought he could get there on the dirt ball read, and just an excellent pick from Pokerock. And then Ben Jones has to do the same thing here at second base. Nice job by Jones to really get the hips down, get the eye level down, keep the glove low, pick that ball, and make the tag all in one motion. There's that high-level skill and athleticism that you just talked about on display there. Two parts of it for Lynchburg to get it out.
So many things to consider. Great work from Pokerock just to get the ball out from the dirt as walk is issued.
Yeah, in the midst of all that and us talking about the shift, Bettler actually worked it pretty good at bat. He fell behind 0-2, but managed to stay alive and draw the free pass from Wesley Arrington. That is the first base on balls that Wes has issued.
That's what good pitchers do. They make you get the contact or you're going back to the dugout. And I think with Lynchburg, they're a team that not only doesn't issue a lot of walks from a pitching side, but they're also going to be patient in the batter's box on the bottom half of the inning. And so those add up a lot, especially when you're playing 27 outs of baseball.
Brett DeWeese in the batter's box now for York. Doing the catching duties. Fastball for a strike there from Wesley Arrington. Brett DeWeese hit just 143, only had 7 at bats last year, though, so not a big sample size. As he hits with a runner on first, fastball misses in. Could tell from Wes's reaction there that he didn't really like that spot. And now the count is 2-1 for DeWeese.
A lot of pitches staying inside, maybe trying to jam them. Maybe even, ooh, that one was a rocket.
Evasive action required from the first base coach and then the far end of the dugout as well. Everybody's fine over there for York College, but it's strike 2. 2-2 count, 1 out, runner on first for the Spartans.
Might need to start bringing up the netting here at Fox Field. You get some of those.
You see a lot more of that as Arrington will get the swing and miss. And there was 2 outs. That's right. We got Connor Pickle thrown out at second base. So that is out number 3. Evan, it's early in the season for everybody. Strikeout number 6 for the Sheriff. He's cooking early as Lynchburg trails 2-1 after 3.5 at Fox Field.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Fans enjoying a sunny day here in early March at Fox Field. Great place to watch a game. It's going to get even better. We've got improvements in the works. We're glad you're watching it with us on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Kyle Haney, Evan Gates, my tag team partner today. I think so far so good for this man Bryce Schaefer on the mound for York. got in a spot of bother last inning, but got out of it and then returns to the mound. I guess we had some questions whether Bryce Schaefer would go back for this bottom of the fourth, but the right-hander's up there again, and he's got strike one on Gavin Collins, who leads off for Lynchburg.
Well, we mentioned last year, too, the amount of innings that he ate up in the starting position, so he's seen a little bit of everything. But it's not easy when you get into that third inning. You think you have everything figured out, and then all of a sudden the base paths are loaded. And so good work to get out of it. Now you just got to continue setting the table for your bullpen later in this ball game.
Yeah, you know, in a three-game series, one today, two tomorrow, that was adjusted. But anyway, that's the situation now. You know that you got to get through at least 27 innings and maybe more in some cases. So you got to really manage that bullpen. That is so key for a coach. Even at the big league level, that's what they say is really the toughest thing for a manager is how do we get the innings out of the bullpen and out of our starters. Strike three looking on Gavin Collins. And Riley O'Donovan up for his second at bat. Bounced into the 6-4-3 double play his first time up.
We saw a third strike called looking against Ben Jones early in this game, too, and it just seemed like he was a little uncomfortable after that call. So now late, got to read the umpire.
Riley O'Donovan wants the first pitch, pounds it into center field, but the grab is made by Elzinga. Wow, that's two out of the last three hitters for Lynchburg that have really hit the ball hard to center. Think back to Bryce Demery at the end of the bottom of the third inning, and now Riley O'Donovan. I think Lynchburg's getting a really good look here now at Bryce Schaefer. Solid contact up the middle, gap to gap, exactly what you want. Just happened that the ball stayed in the air a little bit too long, or maybe in Demery's case, just not deep enough. Here's another hard shot up the middle. Glove side for the shortstop. Lynchburg is done in this inning, 3 up, 3 down, despite two balls being really ripped by the Hornets. Their offense will have to wait. Wes Arrington returning to the mound for Lynchburg. Top of the fifth coming your way next on LHSN. Opening day here at Fox Field. Not the opening day for the Lynchburg Hornets. They are 4-2. They currently trail 2-1. But it is opening day for York College. This has been a typical early season matchup between these two ball clubs that's been going on since 2012, 2013 or something like that, right, Evan?
It's been a while. Well, Lynchburg's won 11 straight, 2 in this series, and so you think obviously they're confident in what they're doing. But, you know, so many of these non-conference series you see extend throughout the years, and it's just good to have some familiarity, especially from our perspective as well, knowing some of York's players coming in. You think about Robbie Elzinga. I mean, it seems like every time he swings the bat, he's getting something out in the field.
Games last year were fairly competitive. Slider in the dirt, the first base umpire says that Luke Mosier held on to that one. Yeah, it was 5-1, 8-3, 9-4 last year for Lynchburg. And it's obviously a series that York College likes because they're coming from Pennsylvania. Weather slightly better here as fastball will get across the outer portion of the plate for strike three. That is K number 7 for Wesley Arrington. So really, his stat line is looking better and better as he chews up this Spartan lineup. The leadoff man, Lucas Pendergast, is back up. He's bounced out to the shortstop twice. But yeah, York College has got a really tough schedule this year. They have a bunch of teams that are either ranked or they were in regional play last year. York plays later on this season Shenandoah, Randolph-Macon, Salisbury, Misericordia, Rowan, Lebanon Valley, who, if you remember Lynchburg, that was one of the teams they beat in regional play. Elizabethtown was also in that same region.
Well,
so
that was
York's got it loaded this year.
Sorry, partner. That was the last time that they played last year, too. Lebanon Valley, the team that sent York home from the conference tournament. So any time that you're up north, lots of good competition, not just baseball, but Division III, period.
Yeah, D3 basketball and into their tournament. I know you were looking at those scores yesterday. It is March.
It
is March Madness.
Maybe the best sporting month of the year. That's opinionated, but I think it's a pretty good opinion if you're asking me.
Well, it's worth having the conversation, but Pendergast has drawn a walk, so we'll have to shift our conversation back to baseball. The sophomore is on for the first time today. That is Wesley Arrington's second base on balls now. Arrington wants a new baseball, getting ready to face Dawson Shelley, who is 0 for 2. Struck out once, grounded out to the third baseman. Lynchburg in double play depth here. Gavin Collins even with the bag at third. Eric Hyatt holding the runner on at first with one out in the top of the fifth inning. We're almost halfway home here.
Well, balanced attack from York, too. 4 hits from 4 different guys, and you think about what you want to see early in a season if you're a coaching staff. I think it's just getting contributions from multiple avenues.
Arrington with a couple tosses to keep tabs on Pendergast. Pendergast is the leadoff man. Even if you don't know any scouting, you assume the leadoff hitter will have good speed and be a potential threat to run. Although the Major League game is changing that as well with guys like, Kyle Schwarber leading off for the Philadelphia Phillies and things like that, things of that nature.
The game is no right or wrong anymore. I think it's just there's so many different things teams are doing. And we talked about it with Carson Atkins in the 9-hole last year.
Yeah. Yeah, a real banger in that 9-hole that could leave the ballpark on any swing. You're right, no right or wrong. That's another great observation by you. Early in the season, you're on, man. I expected this stuff in like April or May.
Oh, well,
but you're on here in early March.
Listen, it's that precedent. If you can be as good as where you left off, then it only means you're getting better from there. But I think this team is trying to do the same thing.
Check swing there from Dawson Shelley, who is a sophomore from Newmanstown, Pennsylvania, on the ball club last year but did not play at all. So he is basically a newcomer, a new face in the middle of the order here for York. 2-1 count with one out. Ball airborne. Run for Ben Jones. O'Kelly McWilliams will come on from center field and make the grab using the speed there. Nice job for McWilliams to pull in out number 2. And now it's Robbie Elzinga. Doubled in his first at bat, ended up scoring. And York does still hold on to that 2-1 lead at the moment.
Great communication in the outfield from McWilliams there, and especially in a spot like that, Ben Jones in no man's land, you want your outfielder to make that play coming in. Just try and keep things as clinical as possible.
More tosses over for Wesley Arrington. Did pick a runner off in that game last week against Salisbury.
What a game that was.
Yeah.
Very long first 3 or 4 innings.
And then the pitching sort of settled down, which included Arrington for Lynchburg, and then Riney came in and really, I thought, threw outstanding for the Hornets. And we assume we'll see Austin Riney at some point this weekend, not necessarily this game, but at some point out of the bullpen. We'll get a look at that talented sophomore. And Arrington, was really, I thought he got better as the game went on, which is not uncommon for a guy like Wesley Arrington. And it was on display last week in that 8-5 win over Salisbury.
He's quiet with the stat stuffing, too. It's never an emphatic 8 or 9 strikeouts, but he does that in a game. It's just very spread out. He keeps everything under control, and I think from your ace, that's what you want, just being able to control the game with your defense and set the table for what your offense is able to do.
Yeah, it was big strikeout totals against Avert last year. I think also EMU. Wes had a great game against Hampton-Sydney last season. Gavin Collins will scoop up a hot shot, go the short way to second base for the final out of the inning. No runs on no hits, one runner left on for York. Lynchburg's going to send 9-1-2 up in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's on the way next on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Catcher Sean Pokerock leads off for Lynchburg in the bottom of the 5th inning. York College starter Bryce Schaefer still on the mound for the Spartans. He's currently holding on to the 2-1 lead at the moment. York scored 2 in the top of the 1st. Lynchburg got their run in the bottom of the 3rd. It's all zeros other than that for these two teams. Evan, Sean Pokerock lifting one into left center field. Outfielders are looking up, and it's gone right over the James C. Fox field sign. Sean Pokerock has got the first homer of the season for the Hornets, and that ties things up here. We're all knotted at 2 apiece on Fox Field.
9-hole who? Sean Pokerock showing us what he can do. Think about last season, cleanup role. He's done a little bit of everything, and who needed it more than the big man behind the plate?
Sophomore, that'll be career homer number 2. Remember his first one here at Fox Field, the first career, he just laced that down the left field line. This one was in the left center gap, and Lynchburg continues to hit the ball hard off the starter, Bryce Schaefer. Top of the lineup here, it's Brandon Garcia looking to start things anew with nobody out. Yeah, Sean Pokerock, major damage there with one swing of the bat to tie it up. That is Lynchburg's 4th hit of the ball game. 2nd extra base hit. We keep our eyes on those totals. This man right here, Brandon Garcia, had the first. That was a double that came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and he eventually came around to score.
Well, now some guys in the York pen, too, and I think for Pokerock, not only do you tie this ball game up, but you turn things over to 1, 2, 3 in this Lynchburg lineup. We know these guys are really patient. They get on base, too. They can cause some problems.
Speaking of patience, walk number 3 for Lynchburg in this game. Garcia's on for the 2nd time today. O'Kelly McWilliams the 4th. Hitting with a runner on first and nobody out. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that scenario for Lynchburg. Like you said, solo homer from your 9-hole guy. Then you get the top of the lineup working with nobody out. In the middle part of the game, these middle innings, Lynchburg tends to do a lot of damage here. Whether it's off a starter that has made it this far or off new faces from the bullpen, Lynchburg usually pretty successful in innings 4, 5, and 6. Not that they're bad in the other ones, obviously. Those teams that win a lot of games tend to be good in all innings, Evan, but just seems like an area where Lynchburg really excels.
Well, and it's not just one way of getting it done. They get it really rough and rugged, and I think using the base paths, getting some stolen bases, also just forcing the defense to make throws at the right times. They can be so tough for teams in the middle of March because you've only played a few games for York. They haven't played any, so you're still trying to get those easy throws, quote-unquote, down before conference play.
Lynchburg really does run the base as well. I got some great base stealing stats that we can dive into. And then there's base stealing and base running, which I would argue is two slightly different things, but Lynchburg good at both. Brandon Garcia, the man at first base, good at both. He gets stolen bases, but he's also very, very apt to advance on those dirt ball reads, those balls that bounce into the catcher. Some of those things, take the extra base even on a batted ball, whether it's something to the outfield or, as you maybe hinted at, an infielder just struggling slightly with a bobble, or maybe it's indecision even as far as where to go. O'Kelly McWilliams will take a hack at that and lift it foul.
Schaefer's still making some good pitches, too. Sometimes you throw over to first 3 or 4 times, you start losing the zone when you're just trying to get it across the plate to McWilliams. And in this case, I think experience really playing a big role, still keeping Hollywood at first.
McWilliams is 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in his last plate appearance. O'Kelly McWilliams came into the game hitting .345, 10 singles there, and the 9 stolen bases. That's what that speed can do. It turns a single into a double pretty quickly for a guy like O'Kelly McWilliams. Ball in the dirt, good eyeball there, and now it's a 3-1 count with nobody out for the transfer, O'Kelly McWilliams from Oakton, Virginia.
39 steals, the record to beat for stolen bases in a season, and he's got 9 through 6.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's it. The math is, I'm not great at math, but that math is easy. That's 1.5 per game. And so, yes, at that pace, the record should be shattered. But we know that those things don't always happen so easily.
We'll talk to him before the season, too, as there's another walk, runners on first and second. His number, and we shouldn't, I don't know if we should be putting this out into the universe. He said 1.25 times the amount of games. I think for any base stealer of that caliber, that's pretty honest to keep yourself accountable.
Yeah. No, I heard him say the same thing. He was talking to strength and conditioning guru Ed Smith, and he said he thought he could get 60 stolen bases or so this season, and he certainly could. Bryce Schaefer's afternoon has come to a conclusion here in the bottom of the 5th inning. York College will go get a new arm. He'll face the talented Ben Jones with runners on first and second when you come back in just a moment here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources Conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before, we were able to learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult part.
Well, Bryce Schaefer's day is done. 4 hits allowed, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, hit batter in the equation, and obviously responsible for the runners on first and second. Now York in a situation where kind of back against the wall, and you hate to say that in the 5th inning, but you know how quickly Lynchburg can turn it up.
We've been hinting at this throughout the game, really, Evan, about how Lynchburg did this so much last season. And they really did it in seasons before that as well, just with the walks, the hit batters, patient approach, and then just pure hitting will step in there with guys like Sean Pokerok with the solo home run. And this guy, we know can ring the bell and do serious damage. Ben Jones hitting with nobody out, runners on first and second. There's a fastball. Outer portion of the plate for Owen Brockner. The sophomore is the new man for York. He's from Overland Park, Kansas. And there's got to be some strong belief in him, Evan, if York is going to Brockner in a situation like this.
Well, from the first couple of pitches, based on the sample size, arm angle a little bit different. Maybe you just try to rattle some people, and obviously that left-on-left matchup is huge here against Ben Jones.
Yeah, Brockner, a sophomore, tried the little spin timing pick there to get Brandon Garcia, but he's back safely. No stats for Brockner from last season, so no real data to work with for a guy like Ben Jones. He will swing on this. Ball in the air for Benny Bombs. Did he get enough of it? Out to the fence, and that'll bounce and stay in play for Ben Jones, but he's going to have 3. Brandon Garcia around easily. O'Kelly McWilliams, the 4th, will stomp on home plate. Lynchburg has taken the lead after an explosive swing for Benny Bombs. Not a home run, but boy, a triple off the base of the fence, sounding pretty good right now for Lynchburg. They snatched the lead, Evan, and looking for more. Still nobody out in the 5th inning.
Emphatic indeed, my friend. That's why you have that 1-2-3 up in that situation, because you know Garcia and McWilliams are making their way around home. There's no shot you're getting them, especially that deep in right field. Now Ben Jones sitting just 90 away from being in himself. Lynchburg up 4-2.
Some really good swings right now for Lynchburg as Hyatt will take two-seam fastball in low for a strike. The infield is in for York, who now finds themselves trailing for the first time today. Sean Pokerock tied it up with a solo home run to start this bottom of the 5th inning. Now Lynchburg has scored more. Hyatt will spray one to right. Should be deep enough to score Ben Jones on the sac fly. We may get a play at the plate. Jones will slide in head first. He's safe, and it's a successful sacrifice fly for Eric Hyatt. Lynchburg has scored again, the lead growing, and now 1 out for Bryce Demery, and the bases are clear for the Hornets.
I think I like that decision by Sans Harpia to cut that one off and try to get it home, and that's always a tough judgment call, especially spur of the moment, but I think Ben Jones was getting there either way.
Always a tough read for a cut man, a relay man, because in Little League and in youth stuff, they teach you to listen for the catcher, and he'll tell you when to cut it. But really, when you get to the higher levels, the relay guy has to kind of make that decision on his own. Just read the ball out of the right fielder's hand and see where to go with it there. Obviously, with no other runners on base, it should be easy. Should be a true relay. He doesn't have to change the direction. But, yeah, you know, I'll give the Spartan defense credit. They made it a lot closer than I thought it would be. Ben Jones has got really good speed. But he does come in to score after the triple. And Lynchburg right where they want to be now with a 5-2 advantage. Still just 1 out in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, battling the sun in right field, too, here at Fox Field. It sort of goes over that third baseline at this time of the day. And so, like you said, made it look easy. But now the problem is there's still only 1 out. You got part of the lineup for Lynchburg that we have seen already have some production. Demery 1 for 2 today.
I think the Lynchburg offense has had that look in their eye here for a while, maybe since the start of the 2nd inning. 5-hopper up the middle, bobble, Demery on the move, low throw, but it's dug out for out number 2. And now Gavin Collins will hit with 2 down, and his team now sporting a 3-run lead.
Like the move from Prendergast at second, too, to not give up on that one and bobble originally. But those are situations where you can't even worry about the runner too much. You just got to keep yourself composed and then trust the rest is going to work out.
You nailed it earlier. That first hop on the dirt can be very tricky. And Prendergast had to move towards the bag at second. Pretty good play. 0-0 pitch coming up to Gavin Collins. He does not have a hit so far. It looks like Gavin Collins, Riley O'Donovan, and Logan Webster are the only Hornets that have not reached base yet. So 6, 7, 8. I think they put some good swings on the ball, as I said. Speaking of good, that was ripped by Gavin Collins. It's rip and run time now as Collins will take the turn. He's going to head to second looking for the double. Slides in safely. It's another hit for Lynchburg, their 6th of the game. And they are getting the extra base hits now, Evan. It's 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer for the Hornet offense.
Well, a little bit of everything in the arsenal, and maybe we should have said Gavin Collins hadn't gotten one earlier because, goodness gracious, he made that one look easy down the line. We know a guy like Gavin, too, 55 games last season. He's just ready for every single situation that he faces, and despite missing that first weekend here of this season, he is looking like the Gavin Collins we know and love.
Yeah, Gavin Collins basically in his 4th season as a full-time starter. Former Old Dominion Athletic Conference Rookie of the Year, Gavin Collins. So, yes, he is ready. You get him out a couple times, it's going to be hard to get him out 3 and 4 times. Off-speed pitch that Riley O'Donovan watches for strike 1. And now the count is 0-1. O'Donovan grounded into the double play, the end of the 2nd inning, and hit a hard shot to center field. That's what I really thought. Lynchburg was getting some good swings off, and they had some good looks at Schaefer. They were starting to understand what they needed timing-wise and all that. And it seems like that has certainly continued for Lynchburg. New man, new pitcher is sophomore Owen Brockner.
As we said to begin this inning, this will go towards Schaefer's line, at least the first 2 that scored.
O'Donovan got jammed there. This ball down the right field line will stay in the air long enough for Connor Pickle to haul it home. But a successful inning for Lynchburg. It was 4 runs on 3 hits. The Hornets do leave 1 stranded, and they now lead 5-2 after 5 complete at Fox Field. Lynchburg's big inning happening. Benny Bombs with a triple off the base of the wall. The celebration. Ben Jones would later come around to score on this sacrifice fly from Eric Hyatt. Close play at the plate, but Lynchburg did get run number 5. Remember, it all started with a Sean Pokerock solo home run, Evan. There's the double down the line from Gavin Collins. Collins ended up getting stranded. But that's the typical inning for Lynchburg. That's the inning that we always know is lurking right around the corner, and the Hornets show it in the 5th, putting up a 4 spot. They now lead 4-2. York has not scored since the 1st. It's still Wesley Arrington out there for Lynchburg. It is a 5-2 lead. I beg your pardon. 5-2 the advantage for the Hornets.
Well, if you're a Lynchburg fan, it's almost hard to get anxious about things early in ball games now. If you've seen what happened last year, and even look to some of the early games that they've played in those opening 6. You think about a game against Cortland where they have that 3-run 8th inning. You start earning walks, being patient in the box, and it all eventually solves itself. But the Bats have awakened today, and Lynchburg making it look easy.
Lynchburg 5 runs on 6 hits. 6 of those hits include 2 doubles, 1 homer, 1 triple. Lynchburg has walked 4 times, 1 hit by pitch. York, just for reference, has 4 hits, and they've left 4 on. Wesley Arrington has walked 2 himself. It is a full count now to Andrew Santarpia. He struck out twice in his first 2 at-bats. York has not scored since the 1st inning, Evan, and it is seeming like that typical thing for Arrington where he gets better as the game goes on. Not that Wes is ever bad to start, but just feels like he gets more feel, more confidence as things progress, and he's showing that again today.
Fine wine on the mound, and it really helps to have a bullpen behind him that is going to come in and do its job You talked about Austin Riney earlier. I mean, there's so many options that at this stage of the season have to separate themselves. Who's going to be the guy who comes in and is consistent? I think we've seen a lot of options in that Lynchburg pin.
Now up to bat, number 16.
Arrington tried the slider and missed low. Santarpia laid off it, and that is walk number 3 for York. I think a good idea there for Arrington to go with the breaking ball. Just kind of held on to it just a little bit long. And now there's one on with nobody out for York. Does look like Austin Riney is getting loose in the Lynchburg bullpen, so we think he will be option number 1. Of course, everything's subject to change.
It's a game of baseball. Never too certain.
It's the game of life. Yes. No, you're right. It is. Nothing is certain in this game. And as you pointed out, very, very few right and wrong answers. Very few always or nevers in this game of baseball, you know?
That's what makes it fun.
For sure. It's been a fun day so far for Lynchburg. Obviously not out of the woods yet here in the 6th inning. There's a line drive laced into right field. Logan Webster will play it on one hop, and it's station to station for York after a line drive single. That is York College's 5th hit of the game.
It seems like with 5 hits, they've had so much more production than that, and just the way that they have done it, they're getting the base traffic and really making Wes Arrington have to go to these tougher pitches, but he's just handled every storm well, and that's what experience does. You think about another guy like Nick Matfield in the lineup, and it's a guy who, yeah, he missed a lot of last year, but just the reps that he is getting really puts him in a spot where he can deliver.
Yeah, Nick Matfield, a former Old Dominion Athletic Conference Rookie of the Year. That was back in 2022, which seems like so long ago after the dream season last year for Lynchburg. But worth noting that Lynchburg has been in NCAA play 3 consecutive years, 3 straight trips to the NCAA regional. Of course, busting through to win the national title last year, but it's not as if this is an overnight sensation program. I mean, Lynchburg has been building to this really ever since Lucas Jones took back over. But even that's misleading because Lynchburg with a strong foundation and tradition and history of winning here on Lakeside Drive. But in 2024, Lynchburg's current edition 4-2 and holding on to a 5-2 lead over York in game number 7 of 40 in the regular season. Good stop from Sean Pokerock to smother that one. Didn't let it escape too far. Runners cannot advance. But it's a 2-0 count. Pokey took a little short mound visit with Wes Arrington. And I think the Hornets will have to see Arrington dig deep here, or otherwise it might be time for a new arm. There's a great pitch and a great start to battle back for Arrington. 2-1 the count. Nobody out with runners on first and second.
It's like leaving your window open in the winter weather. You can't leave it open for long, and if you're York, you have to recognize this is the moment you climb through. You got 2 on and no outs. How can you deliver?
Connor Pickle is 1 for 2 with a strikeout. Another good block from Pokerock. Good hold there from Connor Pickle to not swing at that and work himself to a 3-1 count. Pokey's going to go have another brief chat with Wesley Arrington. This may be to give the umpire some time. I said a good stop from Pokerock, but I think that ball caught a piece of the umpire, and that's why Pokerock is just wandering out to have another little brief convo with Wesley Arrington, although it could be about the plan of attack here on Connor Pickle.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We saw Holden Fiedler do that a lot last year, too. Just experience behind the plate. Help your relationship with the umpire, too. You love to have that at this part of the game. Not that it'll influence calls, but it's always a good thing.
Here's the pitch from Arrington. This ball swung on and belted into right field. Webster going back, reaches the glove out, but can't pull it in. 1 run will come around and score. Pickle going to wheel around second. We could have a play at the plate. Strong throw from Ben Jones, but it's not in time. Pickle will turn that into a triple. And York has scored 2 more. 2 RBI banger there from Connor Pickle. His 2nd hit of the game. The senior is delivering. And now standing 90 feet away with still nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Lynchburg's lead has been trimmed 5-3. Hornets on top now.
Well, we talked about it. It's those moments where you just don't have the luxury of time against Lynchburg. They're always going to try and come back. And what a job from Connor Pickle just looks confident, stays through the ball, and obviously forcing Logan Webster to work.
Yeah, I thought Pickle did some great stuff early in the at-bat to lay off some tough breaking pitches from Wesley Arrington. And really you force Arrington's hand a bit. He has to come at you. And Pickle did not miss on the 3-1 delivery. Chris Bettler, the junior, is 1 for 1. He's also walked. So Lynchburg has not gotten him out yet. It's a 1-1 count after a foul ball and then a fastball that misses inside. I think if you're Arrington, you feel like you're probably emptying the tank here. You're not saving anything in reserves now. Nasty pitch, two-seamer with movement, it looked like for Wes. May have just been a straight change. Count is 1-2.
I love this decision to leave him in, too, because you don't always get those reps of close ball games at this stage, and so make him work.
Ground ball, left side, ate up Gavin Collins. He got down nicely, and I think the hop was just tricky enough that it got by the glove side of Gavin Collins. Another run is in, probably scoring that as a base hit, I believe. It is a base hit. And now it's 3 hits in the inning given up for Wes Arrington. 3 straight, in fact. Connor Pickle comes in to score after the triple. It's a tie ball game. 2 in the first for York. 0s in 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now a 3 spot with nobody out. And this will bring the head coach Travis Beasley to the mound. And we are thinking maybe that Wesley Arrington's afternoon will be coming to a close. Yes, it is. We're going to get a new arm. Let's see if it's Austin Riney. We'll figure that out and more next when you come back. New ball game here. Tied up 5-5 in the top of the 6th on LHSN.
We're getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
If I'm walking around over on the crowd side, I always hear someone yelling, "Hey Nat, take our picture. Hey Nat, get this," or something, or "Hey Nat, you got that shot?" Like, so I'm always like trying to figure.
The sophomore Austin Riney is on for the Lynchburg Hornets. Number 31 takes the ball in a tie ball game. Runner on first for Austin Riney. First pitch swing from DeWeese. Brandon Garcia with a long throw across. Points for effort there from Brandon Garcia, but that is an infield single. That is hit number 8 of the ball game for York. 4 hits in the inning. It's 4 straight for the Spartans, and 5 in a row have reached for York College, Evan. Let me just give you Austin Riney's numbers entering the game. 1.35 earned run average, a 1-0 record on 2 appearances. His last one came against Salisbury in that Friday game a week ago yesterday. 3 innings pitched, surrendered 1 earned run. He has been solid in those 2 appearances thus far. You see one of the reasons why he's been so good right there, a sharp breaking ball that looked like it was high, but comes in the zone for Riney. It's an 0-1 count.
Well, coaching staff is high on what he's been able to do. Obviously, extended outings compared to last year. And so if you can keep that as a reliever who can eat up some innings, I think that's a guy that you want, especially when you see Mason McDowell, somebody else who can go in and give you some fire. Just how can you influence the ball game immediately when you step on that mound?
Yeah, McDowell has been lights out this season. Mason McDowell is obviously a massive factor in Lynchburg's championship run last year. 0-2 count here. I think Riney's gone with the breaking ball a couple times, does it again. Ball at the end of the bat. Jones flips to Garcia for the first across the diamond. Hyatt held on for the second one. That is a massive play there for Lynchburg. Eric Hyatt, who probably does not get enough attention and respect for his defense, with a great job to keep the right foot anchored to the bag. We're going to get an excellent second look at it. Classic turn up the middle, and then the throw from Garcia took it to the outfield side. Hyatt holds on. Lynchburg gets 2 very big outs. Leadoff man Lucas Pendergast is back in there, hitting with a runner on third and 2 outs in a tie ball game for York.
4-6-3 poetry in motion. You think about a play like that, it seemed like both throws were close.
First pitch swing, and Jones will come on, throws across his body for the third out of the inning, and all things considered, really pretty good there for Lynchburg. It could have been worse, but York does tie it up. 3 runs on 4 hits. The Spartans do leave 1 stranded, and we are knotted at 5 apiece here on Fox Field in Lynchburg.
Got the crowds and my friends calling my name. I think sports at Lynchburg unifies us as a whole. No matter what background we come from, what differences we have, and what experience we've experienced through our lives, it brings us all together and we have one goal, which is to win. As a photographer, I definitely get to capture the emotion and the feel and the atmosphere of what's going on during the games and what's happening in the crowd and with the fans. We have hugely dedicated fans here at Lynchburg. They come out whether it's rain, snow, sleet, windy, no matter what. Like, they will come out and support their team and cheer them on. They will sit through anything. It's just, it brings us all together as one.
Logan Webster leads off for the Lynchburg Hornets, who find themselves in a tie game now. Each team has had a big inning. Evan, it's just everything you want from an early season baseball game here on a sunny Saturday in early March.
Well, we've waited since May to have another game on Fox Field, and I think this one has lived up to the hype, especially after seeing all the final games, most of them through a screen. If you couldn't make the trip to Iowa, we did have that little stint at the Hillcat Stadium, but it's just fun to be back.
It really is. Home sweet home, the friendly confines at Foxy. Lynchburg has been great at Fox. If you don't know those numbers, they are well documented. 22-1 last year at home. It's 43-3 in the last 2 seasons. And in the last 4 years, 72-7 at this ballpark for Lynchburg. Those are just staggering things to think about.
That's on pace better than what the Warriors did in that 72-73 win season.
That's right. As Logan Webster takes another pitch in the dirt.
We'll try to keep it on one sport today.
Well, no, I like bouncing around. You know that. It's yeah, if you can't mix it up and talk about some other sports, how much fun can we have in here? As Webster will take a fastball inside part of the plate. I'm just thinking about that Golden State Warriors team. You know, you gotta remember now that's almost like 10 years ago now. So you're dating like yourself a little bit, old man.
Listen, that's just the sports history. You know, there's so much to be able to watch.
Big swing from Logan Webster. It'll carry Elzinga back a bit, but that's an out. Another good, solid, loud out for Logan Webster and the Lynchburg Hornets. I feel like they're swinging it a little bit better than even the numbers indicate. Lynchburg does have 6 hits, 2 doubles in there, the triple and the homer from Pokerock. This man, Pokey, left the yard, our first home run at Fox this season. If there was ever a candidate to go back-to-back, it would be this guy right here with 1 out and nobody on.
He's got a good matchup, and we've seen, like you said, not all outs are created equally. You think about using every single inch of Fox Field. Had a play where Ben Jones gets the triple almost over the wall in right field, but now you're in a spot, everything's even. It's just about who makes the first move in the late innings of this game.
Pokerock slashes one up the middle, right into the gut of the shortstop, who throws across. That's the sophomore Luke Mosier with a pretty good play to handle what we've been discussing. That first hop on the dirt, kind of tricky, just shot it right at his belt line there. But it is the second out of the inning. 6-3. Pokerock is back in the dugout, and it's Brandon Garcia. 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. He scored twice. Typical leadoff stuff here from Hollywood. A true table setter in every sense of the word and just an outstanding player. He'll look to get a 2-out rally going on. This is how Lynchburg scored their first run. Lone single-digit offering there in the 3rd inning was the double from Brandon Garcia, and then he came around to score later on. That was Lynchburg's first run. Lynchburg scored 4 in the bottom of the 5th, and here we are tied up 5-5 in the bottom of the 6th.
I think there's so many narratives from last season, you tend to forget some of the storylines. This guy had a 21-game hitting streak going really into the postseason, and so you just think about, as you said, being a table setter. It isn't always from the hitting category, but he found the ball very well, and at that leadoff spot, that's only going to help you.
Led the team in hits with 63. You mentioned that 21-game hitting streak. I think even after that got snapped, he hit safely, and then like the next 4. It was 25 out of 26 at one point for Brandon Garcia. Had 9 3-hit games for Hollywood. He'll drop this one in front of the center fielder. No, left fielder coming on to make the grab there. Good play by Bettler, and the inning is over. Lynchburg does not score in the bottom of the 6th. We are still tied up 5 apiece. Evan and Kyle coming back in just a second on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in there.
Number 2, Dawson Shelley.
We've reached the top of the 7th inning. It's getting late here at Fox Field in a tie ball game, 5-5. Each team has had their moments with big innings, swinging the bat. Each team has gotten good action from a lefty out of the bullpen. In Lynchburg's case, it's Austin Riney. Bouncing ball, backhand for Brandon Garcia. Low throw, it hit the glove of Eric Hyatt and bounced out. I don't know that it was ever really in full grasp for Hyatt. So he tried to dig that low throw from Brandon Garcia out. And I think it's going to be an error that reaches, or that allows Dawson Shelley to reach. Here's a second look, Evan.
That one's tough, too, because it's not exactly a bad play to try a one-hopper, but he was pretty close to where, I mean, we've seen throws earlier in this game. He can make it. Also don't know what the grass and dirt, we talked about the rain earlier.
Yeah, that's that tough zone right there. Kind of that in-between hop for a first baseman. Looked like Hyatt was in good position. It did. You mentioned the grass. It did look like it hit right at the edge where the grass meets the dirt, and that can be very tricky for any infielder, but specifically a first baseman. Robbie Elzinga hits now. He's 1 for 3. Had the double and the first run scored for York in the first inning. Austin Riney will flip one over to first base and keep Dawson Shelley close. Obviously, in a tie ball game, the running game could be in play. You certainly have to watch out for a bunt as well, though I think Elzinga, the 3-hole hitter, probably swinging away here for York. 1-1 count. Off-speed pitch that catches the outer black, and now it's a 1-2 setup for Austin Riney.
If you're going to miss on that pitch, got to miss low and away. That was a great pitch to stay inside the zone. And this isn't the first time they've gone 2-3-4 today for York, but they were 3 up, 3 down earlier. So if you're Riney, you've seen it. You just got to trust your stuff.
Looks like Wes Arrington will officially get 5 innings plus because he did pitch into the 6th. He did not record an out. Arrington on the hook for all the runs. Beauty of a breaking ball there from Austin Riney will get Elzinga swinging for out number 1.
Not an easy guy to retire either, and great work just to stay poised. Delivers another off-speed. We've seen a few of those pitches now from Riney. He is just so confident in throwing it. That's what you want to see, especially from a sophomore.
He's really put in the work in the offseason to improve his game. Only pitched 3 times last year. It was 1 inning total for Austin Riney. He was not a big part of the bullpen last year, but that has all changed in his sophomore season. He has been one of the go-to guys. This is outing number 3 for Riney as he gets strike 1 on the outer third. 0-1 count here with 1 out on Andrew Santarpia. Santarpia is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk. Lynchburg's defense turned a key double play. That's another theme going back to last year. Evan, Lynchburg led the nation in double plays last year.
Great thing about it, too, is you get your middle infield back, and it's not just for this year with Garcia and Jones. We've seen so many of those.
That is so much fun to watch. One of the great things about our game, a double play, and it can really just suck the life out of a defense as well, or out of the offense, rather. It can give the defense life.
Well, there's so many moments that can happen before that double play, and it just seems like when you erase it, it's a whole new inning.
Ball looped into left field. This is more than loop. This ball is going to 2-hop into the fence. A double here for Santarpia. Dawson Shelley coming around to score. York takes the lead back, 6-5. Spartans on top after the double in the left center gap.
Well, I reckon that's timely hitting from Santarpia. Great work. He hasn't had a hit or contact today in play and just stays really comfortable getting that one out into left center. No shot really from McWilliams to get it back in time.
Yeah, for a guy that, like you said, had not had a hit today, Santarpia, that looked like a really A-plus swing. He gets it out there into the big, spacious left center gap here at Fox. And Santarpia, in the previous at-bats were off Wesley Arrington, so maybe that matchup just not great for Santarpia. Saw it a little bit better off Riney, perhaps. Austin Riney has hit Michael Teneni. Teneni's on for the 3rd time today. And here we go. York building some more momentum. They've already taken the lead back. 6-5 Spartans looking for more with runners on first and second with 1 out.
Well, we know what Connor Pickle did in his last at-bat. Got a 2 RBI triple, and so here, at least you get the force out. Chance for a double play, as we mentioned, if you can get out of this inning. But Austin Riney going to have his hands full, and you have to expect some guys are about to be up in the Lynchburg bullpen.
Seeing some activity there already. Looks like number 42, Dominic Rollins, who is another guy with 3 appearances on the season. Rollins is getting loose. There's some other options stirring in the bullpen as well. I think the preference would be for Riney to at least get out of the inning. We are in the top of the 7th. Lynchburg now trailing again, 6-5. Connor Pickle, 2 for 3. With the triple, single in there as well. Struck out in his first at bat. Strike 1 for Riney. Really spinning that breaking ball nicely. Seems to command it. It's got good shape, good action. Real weapon for Austin Riney. Away target here for Sean Pokerock. Riney checks the runner rather, now throws. Ball into left field. Brandon Garcia on the run, not going to get there. Tried to jump throw it to third base to get the runner from second, Santarpia. But that's not in time, and it's just a clean single, a bloop single, third hit of the game for Connor Pickle.
Can be so tough to get a read on that pitch too, especially as a lefty hitter when that ball is going away. Just trying to stay through it and able to drop it in play. Now bases loaded. This is a situation where if you're Riney, it is certainly time just to try and keep them where they're at.
Bases loaded. Pressure situation right now for Austin Riney. High leverage situation. There is one out. So one of those timely double plays would get Lynchburg out of the inning. We started 5-5. It's a 6-5 lead now for York. Strike one. I think Riney went with the breaking ball again. Middle is double play depth, although as usual, Garcia and Jones play a little bit deeper than maybe the classic double play setup. Gavin Collins behind the bag at third. Eric Hyatt is in front of the runner at first base, and now it's an 0-2 count pretty quickly here on Chris Bettler. The junior is 2 for 2 with a walk. Lynchburg hadn't gotten this guy out yet, so that would be another reason for this to be a good get here for Riney.
0-2 count, too. Still can't become too urgent. You know, in situations like this, sometimes you're just in swing mode trying to foul everything off. You know Riney wants to get it close to the zone, especially with just one out, but you also know that if that pitch is outside, are you going to bite or can you keep this count alive?
Bettler, the junior, playing left field. Rips that one. Gavin Collins with a stab. What a play right there for Gavin Collins. Didn't take full flight, but had to get basically horizontal to just rip this one out of the sky. That ball was hit great by Bettler. He's already got 2 hits. That ball was probably hit harder than those other ones. And here's the replay. Yeah, Gavin Collins coming up with a great out for Lynchburg. 2 down with bases loaded.
Those are the defensive plays sometimes you tend to forget at an end of a ball game, and Collins just made it look easy. He makes everything look easy at third.
Really nice there on the line drive to have the ball find you as one of the senior leaders out there, Gavin Collins. That was at least 1 run, Evan, if that ball gets by, and perhaps more. 1-0 count here as Riney missed the zone with another breaking ball. Even better one that time. Check swing, bat got off the shoulder for DeWeese, but that's strike one. 1-1. DeWeese has struck out twice, and he's got a single. Bases loaded here with 2 down in the top of the 7th inning.
I think that first pitch was just missing the zone, but still sets it up to get the eye level away. Every single time in this situation, especially with bases loaded, just how often can you keep the batter guessing? And it's easier said than done, but you just want to make sure you don't miss to where the catcher isn't getting it.
Great point by you. Even on a miss, a pitcher can use that and pitch off of that to set up something else. Line drive, right field, that is in play, just in front of the right field foul line. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. DeWeese sliding into second base safely, and it's a double, a 2-out, 2 RBI double for Brett DeWeese. York is on top by 3, 8-5, Spartan advantage.
I think the Hornets are kind of lucky the ball skimmed the fence too, because if it gets into the deep corner, you might be talking about 3 runs. Big opportunities for the Spartans, and they have capitalized every single chance they have gotten late in this game, now opening up a 3-run lead, excuse me.
Still thinking basketball here.
So many sports going on.
Head coach Travis Beasley is going to step out and take the baseball from Austin Riney. We will get a new arm. We'll meet and greet coming back in just a second. Lynchburg trailing by 3 in the top of the 7th inning at Fox Field. Lynchburg's third pitcher of the game will be number 42, Dominic Rollins, a junior from just down the street in Forest, Virginia. He takes over with 2 runners on, 2 outs in the top of the 7th. York has done damage again, a 3-spot in back-to-back innings for the Spartans, Evan. And this is obviously something every coach fears. If you're Lynchburg, you just, like I said, how do you eat up the innings? How do you get out of there? Who do you go to in a tricky spot? Because I think most, if not all, pitchers prefer to start the inning clean with nobody on base in a fresh situation. But here comes Rollins. He's done this a few times already this season. This will be appearance number 4 for Dominic Rollins, another guy who has really put in a ton of work in the offseason in his entire career to get to this point. He's a big factor for this squad now. Gets strike 1 with 2 outs. Pitching to the 9-hole man, shortstop, sophomore Luke Mosher.
As you said, 2 outs, so not starting exactly from base camp, but do have to put in a little bit of work, and those first 2 pitches have looked really nice.
1-0 in 3 appearances. Pitched against East Texas Baptist, Milliken, and Marietta. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Ground ball. Brandon Garcia's there. Fields waist high. Flips it across, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. Some damage done, though, for York. They score 3 runs on 3 hits. Spartans do leave 2 stranded. Let's see how Lynchburg can respond. Running out of chances as we move to the bottom of the 7th on LHSN. The York College Spartans take the lead back with back-to-back 3-run innings in the 6th and 7th. Spartans scored 2 in the 1st. It's 11 hits total for York, and they lead Lynchburg 8-5. And Lynchburg needs to get busy here, as we've only got 3 more trips up to the dish for the Lynchburg offense. We have reached the bottom of the 7th, Evan. Championship rounds coming to you here from Fox Field.
Well, what a fight they put up, too, because sometimes Lynchburg is able to really nail the coffin shut, and it just feels like there's nothing you're doing to get back in that game. But pitching, obviously, has been able to keep them close. We know Brockner had a 1-2-3 inning, and so just able to really keep Lynchburg quiet.
O'Kelly McWilliams going to wear one off the helmet there. Case in point of why we wear those helmets.
Second of the game.
Pitch. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. O'Kelly McWilliams has yet to get a base hit, but he's reached 3 times. Bopped twice, and then he's taken 1 base on balls, and the speedy O'Kelly McWilliams is on first. We haven't really seen him in a true base-stealing opportunity because he's had runners in front of him. But here we'll keep an eye on McWilliams. He will take off first pitch. That did not take long. The throw is not in time. Head first slide, and Mr. McWilliams has his 10th steal of the young season. Runner in scoring position for Lynchburg with nobody out.
I think he's just so strong because, as we talked about earlier, it's not exactly a guessing game of if he's going. It's just when, how well can he execute it. He's so low when he gets off of first base, too. You don't always see that, but with that front hip really opening up, he just has an easy release, able to snag second.
Well, yeah, you're a track and field guy. He gets that almost that sprinter start when he's so low to the ground like that and really accelerates in those first 2-3 steps. What do we call that? The drive phase, right? The first 4 or 5 steps or whatever?
Well, all he really needs is starting blocks, and he would be suiting up in a track uniform, I think, because this guy has been as impressive as anybody.
It's not a bad idea if Coach Sprecher and some of the gang could talk him into moonlighting out there potentially. But anyway, we have fun, and O'Kelly McWilliams seems to be having a good time at second base, a short mound conference as DeWeese goes out to talk to Eric Cheney. Eric Cheney is the third pitcher that York has used. Both teams have used 3. And you just have a feeling that both teams are going to have to use a 4th guy probably to win this ball game, but we will see about that, Evan, as Ben Jones hits with a 2-0 count. Conversation might have been, remember last inning this guy hit the triple to the fence, so don't feed him anything good. We've got a base open. This might be the old intentional walk right here from York. They might be content to just let Ben Jones watch 4 pitches and then walk down to first base.
Well, the problem, too, we've seen what Hyatt has been able to do, and that one's going to be called. Ben Jones was almost ready to drop the bat, but with Hyatt, just a sacrifice and 2 walks today. We say just, that is still very productive, but haven't exactly seen that big swing from him yet, so he's going to have to go deep into the inventory.
Could be time for it here. 3-1 count. Could be time for Ben Jones to explode again. Yeah, he was ready for that. Took a rip, fouled it back. Guess I was wrong about Eric Cheney and York's game plan with Ben Jones. I thought they were content just to let him go to first, but no, they came after Benny Bombs. Let's see if they come after him again. Full count. Runner on second, nobody out. Long look at the signs from Cheney. Now he comes set. Checking McWilliams. Here's the pitch. That missed the zone, and it's a walk for Ben Jones. Ben Jones has been on 3 times today, Evan. 2 hits, including the triple. Now 1 walk for Benny Bombs, and it is the guy you spent some time talking about there, Eric Hyatt. See if he can go into the inventory here. With nobody out, runners on first and second. Could be a potential sacrifice bunt situation. I'm sure that's part of the inventory for Hyatt. Let's see if it's on for Lynchburg.
Well, a lot of guys have had strong swings today. We know Demery on deck had one earlier.
McWilliams running. Head first slide in there safely. Third baseman fell over him. Ben Jones stays at first. So now it's runners at first and third. McWilliams has his 11th steal of the season.
I'm telling you, it's hard not to like this guy with just the way that he gets out. He is willing to go for the base really any time that he's out there. And you talk about timely base running, as you said, sometimes it's just about reading what happens with the pitch, but he is very clearly going on a lot of those opening opportunities.
8-3, Lynchburg down 3, but a serious threat with runners at the corners. 8-5. Lynchburg is down 3, though. The threat with runners at the corners, first and third, nobody out. That ball misses. It's a 2-0 count for Eric Hyatt. A proven run scorer.
Got a cushion, too. 3-run lead, so forget McWilliams at third if you can get that double play and just try to move on.
Yeah, if you're the pitcher, Eric Cheney, that is the concept. He gets the breaking ball over for a strike. 2-1 count now on Eric Hyatt. York out hitting Lynchburg 11-6 right now, Evan.
And you're really just wondering when that swarm happens. We thought we had that big inning. Lynchburg's capable of doing it a few times in a game, but as you said, it gets late really early. If you wait to produce that offense, you don't know what spot of the lineup you're going to be in. So those 6th, 7th, and 8th innings become so crucial, especially early in the season.
Hyatt, red batting gloves, black cleats, ready to go here. The 3-1 count, nobody out, runners at first and third. That fastball does catch the edge. Hyatt thought it might have been ball 4. Instead, it's a full count with nobody out. Could have been Jones on the move here potentially with the full count. Jones runs well. Pitcher is Eric Cheney, third arm that York has used. Set, staring at the target. He will throw over on Ben Jones. Perhaps York expecting some action on the pitch there as far as running game strategy.
Not the situation you would employ this either, but you throw to first and you even bobble that throw. McWilliams might be on his way home.
I agree. And it looked like he was ready for just that scenario as well. Cheney, shorter hold that time, pitches, breaking ball off the plate. It's walk number 3 of the game for Eric Hyatt. So disciplined, so good at that. And the discipline of, again, knowing the zone, knowing what you're capable of, knowing what the umpire is calling, and then doing the right thing for the team, not trying to get too greedy there as Hyatt will watch ball 4. Back-to-back walks for Cheney. He also hit the first batter, McWilliams, and I think that's part of the reason why we're going to get the mound visit here for York.
I'd argue it's more impressive to have 3 people on base without a hit than to have that loud contact. Lynchburg did it a ton last season. It was really a story that we followed in just the way that they had that plate discipline. And now you see a guy like Bryce Demery, and it's just 1 swing away instead of 3 or 4.
Yeah, so Lynchburg last year with the walks, it was 302 walks last season. That was also best in the country. That's 5.39 walks per game, Evan. And they're at 6 walks in the game right now, so they're over that average. They're over their average for this season already. 32 walks in the first 6 games. That equals 5.33. So, yeah, it's such a key for Lynchburg. I mean, when you lead the nation, and it doesn't seem like something that would maybe be the biggest deal, but it is a big reason why Lynchburg is successful. Bases loaded for Bryce Demery. Fresh count with the same arm. Eric Cheney out there. Demery wanted the first and fouled it away. Looked like he was switched on and ready to go with nobody out and the sacks packed here in the bottom of the 7th.
I like a swing like that. At least make the pitcher think, too, about putting it over the plate. When you show you're not going to be fearing what he has to offer, especially with no outs, it can get really tough to know what to throw.
It's a guy, Eric Cheney, that has already walked 2 rather, and hit 1 in the inning. Looked good on that delivery, though. He'll come after Demery again. Bryce Demery wanted it, fouls it away in a similar location over Wake Fieldhouse. And now it's an 0-2 count pretty quickly on the left fielder, Bryce Demery.
2 swings that were just late, too, and so you're wondering here, do you speed it up or do you use that off speed? Lots of options ahead with that 0-2.
It'll be interesting to see what Cheney and the coaching staff goes with here. It's a high breaking ball. That might have been a miss. It's a ball. It was a miss as far as balls and strikes go, but I think that maybe was supposed to be a curveball in the dirt rather for Eric Cheney, but it's a 1-2 count. Bryce Demery hitting with the bases loaded. Infield double play depth. First baseman's in front of the runner. Third baseman even with the bag. Outfield a little bit deeper than average. Got Demery with a high fastball. Couldn't lay off with a high heater, and it's out number 1 in the bottom of the 7th for Lynchburg.
That was great placement at a great time on the mound. You just think about a situation where Demery, even just getting it into the outfield, you're likely scoring a run. Anything that's out of the area code, but now Lynchburg 1 out. Double play gets you out of the inning.
Yeah, that's exactly what you don't want here if you're Gavin Collins. You want to get something elevated, something in the outfield if you can do it. Balk, we've got a balk. Run will score on a balk. Umpire came out, loud, strong conviction on the call there, called it right away. You're not getting any disagreement from the York dugout either. That is a balk that will allow the 6th run of the game for Lynchburg to come across. Hornets are down 2. Now the double play is not in order. Evan, I would argue that frees you up a little bit even more if you're Gavin Collins, although he's probably still looking for something to elevate here with runners on 2nd and 3rd.
Well, you talk about plays throughout a game where it's not exactly handed to you. You got to do some earning, but wow, what a big one if Lynchburg can just get a single into the outfield now. It's a tie ball game.
2nd run of the game scored by O'Kelly McWilliams, the 4th. Yeah, base hit you would think would tie it up. Eric Hyatt is at second. Not great speed. 0-1 count. Gavin Collins, 1 out. Gavin Collins had a double in his last at bat. That would definitely score Eric Hyatt. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Good action, good depth on that curveball for Eric Cheney.
Kyle, we talk about late game situations. These big innings, Lynchburg has had 2 extra inning games already this season. They had 1 that is unofficial. I think it was 1 last season in 56 games, and so you know they're ready to have to go late.
Yeah, Lynchburg wins the close games at a very high rate. Another thing that you would probably expect from a great team, but Lynchburg was 8-2 in 1-run games last year. And they had a really good record in those 4 runs or less games, the old 1 swing of the bat adage. We're there right now in a 2-run deficit for Lynchburg, 8-6, 0-2 hole to hit with for Gavin Collins. Lays off that breaking ball. Good slide by DeWeese to keep that one in front. Ben Jones is leading off at third for Lynchburg. Eric Hyatt at second. No hits in the inning yet, but 1 run across for the Hornets.
Big chance here for Collins, but you also don't want to try and do too much. Again, make the pitcher work.
Strikeout swinging. That ball is underneath. Collins will take off, but DeWeese got him on the tag. Little bit of a late reaction there for Gavin Collins. That is a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks. 4th of the game for Lynchburg. And now it's number 19, Riley O'Donovan. He's hit the ball hard twice, but no hits. Another look at great action on that curveball for Cheney. And you talk about that depth. It's the point which he releases it down to where it finally finishes breaking. That's the depth, the height from top to bottom there. And it really is nice for Cheney. 2 outs, runners on first and second. I think he went to the spinner again, and that's strike 1.
I think it takes some of the pressure off, too, being a righty pitcher in this situation with who you're facing, because you can kind of miss outside and not have to worry about having some loud contact. But obviously don't leave this one inside to where O'Donovan, if he can just pull it, would tie this ball game.
Little out front there on a chopper foul, and now it's an 0-2 count on Riley O'Donovan. 2 outs for the senior from Reston. Came into the game hitting .417. That'll take a dip. He's 0 for 3 in this one, but as I said, he's hit the ball pretty hard a couple times. O'Donovan, 75 career hits. And it's 8 career homers for this man in the batter's box. 0-2 count on him right now. Off speed, check swing from O'Donovan. Field umpire will say that he went around, and that is a big punch out for York. Lynchburg scores 1 run on no hits. They leave 2 stranded in scoring position, and we will move to the top of the 8th inning here at Fox Field in Lynchburg. Lynchburg got the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th. They do score 1 run on a balk, but it was 3 big punch-outs from Eric Cheney. Cheney hit the first batter, walked the next 2, Evan. It looked like he was having trouble finding it, but boy, he found it pretty quickly, and it results in 3 strikeouts. Lynchburg leaves 2 in scoring position. Hornets have now stranded 7 in the game, and they trail by 2 with Dominic Rowlands still working here in the top of the 8th inning.
Sometimes there are just these quirks where it's hard to really find the correlation why, but a really good moment to get things started, because obviously even if you don't have that balk, you're putting up a 0 on the scoreboard, and York's still 2 ahead.
Ground ball. Ben Jones fields a head-high hop and then sidearms one over to Eric Hyatt at first base. That is the first out of the inning. Lucas Pendergast, the leadoff man, bounces out for the 4th time today. He's 0 for 4 with 1 walk. Dawson Shelley has not had a hit, but he reached on an error and scored. And that is what started basically a big 7th inning, if you think back to that. It was E6, a slightly low throw from Brandon Garcia that Eric Hyatt had a chance to pull out of the dirt, but was unable to. And then 3 runs end up scoring in that 7th inning. York leading 8-6 at the moment.
Just one time in this ball game have they gone down 1-2-3, and that's really what you have to do against Lynchburg, because not only do you get Arrington out earlier, but that's really when you get to that bullpen that you're able to cause that damage. And Riney, obviously a few pitches that struggled, but opportunities.
Similar play right here, backhand, very strong throw that time from Brandon Garcia. That was the bazooka across the diamond from basically the edge of the infield dirt to get Dawson Shelley. No E6 that time. Here comes a second look at it. Deep in the hole there, and that is really good, strong stuff. Another great stretch from Eric Hyatt. Good job to hold on. And it looks like Coach Mike Scappa for York wants to ask the question of the field umpire, did he hold on or not? This is a new trend where they don't want the coach to go on the field to talk about the call. So the field umpire in this case has to come all the way over from behind first base. And Coach Scappa kind of with the I'm just asking the question gesture. He's going to ask the home plate umpire if he saw Eric Hyatt's foot leave the bag or not. We can, looks like, get another replay here, and you can be the judge, fans. As the throw comes across the diamond. Yeah, it was very close. You can see why Coach Mike Scappa was asking the question. To me, it looked like he held the bag, Evan.
It was corner of the bag. It's just tough to see where his foot was positioned. You know, if you get really where your toe is in the dirt, sometimes it can come off, but obviously, quick decision.
If you could just get the metal spike at the bottom of the shoe there on it, it would theoretically count, but that was very close.
Game
very,
of
very
millimeters.
close. And in the big leagues, you would maybe use your challenge on something like that, especially late in the game here as there's a ball into left field. Ooh, a stumble out there from Bryce Demery. That ball's down. Bryce Demery stumbled. Now he'll fire it in. Just 2 bags this time for Robbie Elzinga. That's going to go down as a double, although it looked like Bryce Demery was tracking it. We mentioned the outfield is wet, and it is playing tough. We've seen all the outfielders maybe struggle with the footing a bit, and left field here at Fox is typically one of the worst spots as far as holding that water. But that'll be the second double of the game for Robbie Elzinga. York's got another in scoring position with 2 down here in the top of the 8th.
When a game like that, too, with the weather, anything that you get into play is up for grabs. You think about just getting to the fence. We saw Ben Jones earlier today. It's where you get to the warning track. You're really testing some of the gravel.
Santarpia has got a double. He has 1 of 12 York College hits. Robbie Elzinga has got 2. Santarpia struck out twice, walked once, hit the double off of Austin Riney. This is the right-hander Dominic Rowlands. 1-0 count, now 2-0 as he misses with a breaking ball. 2 down in the top of the 8th inning.
It's been like that a lot today for both teams. It's like it's so close. You can taste it. It's just that 1 or 2 pitches that can be the difference maker. For Rowlands, you'd love to have it now keep that lead at 2 because, again, we've seen Lynchburg come back multiple times from just a couple numbers on the scoreboard.
Santarpia did go on another breaking ball. That is strike 1, 2-1 count. Dominic Rowlands, a junior. This is appearance number 4 already in the first 7 games for Lynchburg. So that tells you what they think about Rowlands, their belief in the righty from Jefferson Forest High School. Did not pitch any last season. He's another guy that was a really key part, though, just of the overall vibe and culture for Lynchburg, and now he's getting his chance on the mound. 2-2 count with 2 outs. See if he goes to the breaking ball again. He did, and oh boy, that just missed. Good long hold and presentation from Sean Pokerock, but it's ball 3, full count.
We've seen Pokerock and the entire Lynchburg staff try to do that, and in a game like this, it just seems like a lot of those calls that could go either way have favored the batters.
Breaking ball away. Quinn Madden broke in. Now he's on his bike to get back, and he pulled it in. He'll just tap the fence there, but Quinn Madden, first step, wrong-footed him. He was able to use the speed to recover and take that one out of the sky for out number 3. Lynchburg, 2 more chances. They trail by 2. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th here at Foxy.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
Bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Quinn Madden leading off for Lynchburg. Just made a snazzy play in right field to keep this at a 2-run deficit for the Hornets. They trail 8-6. If they want win number 5, it will have to be in the comeback variety in these last 2 innings here. Kyle Haney and Evan Gates, along with some of our closest friends in Lynchburg, has it's been an interesting game, as it usually is, Evan.
Roller coasters. You never have like a straight drive into the sunset. There's always something.
You're absolutely right. Quinn Madden will watch a off-speed pitch miss from Ethan Kennedy. Ethan Kennedy is the 4th pitcher used by York. 4-2 last season for Mr. Kennedy. 5.02 earned run average, and actually led the team in appearances. So he figures to be a key bullpen piece. Quinn Madden deep into right field, and I think it was an outstanding grab. Madden's going to keep running. No, he realizes that he is out. Connor Pickle made the catch in right, and he's actually still down just in front of the warning track there. So Quinn Madden just made a great grab in right. Now a favor returned by Connor Pickle, who holds on to that one. Tough catch.
Yeah, one right fielder to another. We've talked about that warning trap being a little problematic. They're making it look easy these last couple of plays, and it looked like he just got under that hit too. Maybe a little more on top. That one could be headed out of the park, but either way, now 1 out. You're just 5 away from escaping if you're the Spartans in game 1.
Here's the extra look at it. Yeah, Pickle going back, does make a clean catch and holds on. Just the tumble at the end, I think, did some damage. Sean Pokerock has a solo home run. He's grounded out to third and short. 1 for 3. He'll swing at the first pitch and slash that one in between those 2 guys that got him out earlier. Second hit of the game for Pokey. Has hit number 7 for Lynchburg.
Sean Pokerock having himself a day. The homer was just big at a big time earlier, and now chance to maybe start another rally.
You feel like with the top of the order here, up and a runner on in the 8th inning, this is the time. Not that you can't win it in the 9th with the middle or the bottom of the order, but just feels really critical right now as Garcia watches the first fastball come in for a strike. 0-1. Ethan Kennedy said he had a lot of work last year, 21 appearances, did have 5 saves in what would be a save situation here in game 1 for York. 0-0 for the Spartans. Garcia will foul one off his own lower body and work with an 0-2 count and 1 out.
See, I'm curious to see Lynchburg's perspective on this, because playing another team who is in their first game, you're getting their adrenaline. You know you're national champs from last year, so they're going to bring the fight. But the Hornets have played 5 top 12 teams. And so you would think, obviously, being battle-tested, you're ready for this moment. They're ready for exactly what is presenting itself now. It's just who's going to step up in that moment.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Great read from Sean Pokerock. Catcher will have no chance as number 18 for Lynchburg saw that well, and the carom just took it too far away from Brett DeWeese. Runner in scoring position now.
You don't have to get both at the same time. You get one now and go into the 9th just needing one. I think if you're Coach Beasley, you'd like a little bit better of a transition than that.
Yeah, right. If you're a coach, you'd like 12 runs right here if you're a Lynchburg coach. But, yeah, realistically, I think you make a good point, though. If you can cut it in half and only be down 1 or maybe tie here, and then you could possibly win it in the bottom of the 9th with the walk-off, well, that would work pretty good, too. 2-2 count now on Brandon Garcia, just confirming with the umpire there. Sean Pokerock leads off at second base. You hit on something there, too, Evan. 5 of the 6 opponents for Lynchburg, not just in the top 25, but the top 12 as well, the best of the best. Well, fastball for a strike. Brandon Garcia could not pull the trigger, and that is out number 2. Hard to get Brandon Garcia looking, but Ethan Kennedy did it right there.
Sometimes staying too patient means you're going to have to deal with a few of those called third strikes. We've seen it a lot today for Lynchburg. And now, if you're O'Kelly McWilliams, it's just about putting this ball in play. 2 outs. You don't want to waste what you have standing on second base.
McWilliams has been on 3 times, no hits. Hit twice, walked once. He's stolen a couple bags and scored twice. He'll take a rip at the first one and send that foul down the first base line.
Let's go back to that top 12 teams conversation as well, because last season, Lynchburg played CNU, a ranked opponent, twice before the start of April, and that was the only ranked opponent they played, just 2 times. And you've got 5 in your first 6, really, before you even hit March.
Yeah, you're going to get some ranked teams probably when ODAC play rolls around, but you're right, just as far as the non-conference stuff, as McWilliams watches that one come in high, it is a meaty schedule for Lynchburg. It is a meat grinder kind of a schedule, and they have faced it, the 4-2 record thus far. Back to the wall here on the ropes against York College, who figures to have a great season with a lot coming back. Kennedy deals to McWilliams, laces one into right field. Pickle on the move again. He catches it for the 3rd out of the inning. Lynchburg will leave 1 stranded after 1 base hit. They trail by 2, heading to the top of the 9th inning. Don't miss the conclusion of this one coming up next on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and rope course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
The top of the ninth has arrived at Fox Field. Lynchburg down by 2. York looking for some insurance. It'll be Michael Teneni leading off. Connor Pickle hitting second. 2 great plays out there in right field that inning for Connor Pickle, Evan. I would argue York's defense has really been a pretty bright spot. They've done some things that have impressed us, taken some potential hits away from Lynchburg. Hornets have hit the ball hard right at guys at times as well, but all part of the deal when you're playing baseball, especially in early March.
Anytime to not have errors is a good thing.
This will be a line drive right down the line. Quinn Madden's going to get to it quick. Might have a play at second. Nope. That'll be Teneni sliding in safely. It'll be a leadoff double, 13th hit of the game for York. Dominic Rowland still out there working for Lynchburg. It will be Connor Pickle, who's 3 for 4, by the way. So in addition to some good glove work, Connor Pickle has been swinging the metal here, and Lynchburg needs to try to get him out and keep this at just a 2-run deficit. Lynchburg will have Ben Jones leading off the bottom of the ninth, 3-4-5 due up for the home team, but you got to get there first.
Looking at the scorecard, I think it's 5 doubles, 2 triples for York in this game, and they have just really placed them sporadically, evenly throughout this contest, and that helps so much, not needing that one big inning. They've really been able to spread it out. They had 6 runs across the 6th and the 7th.
Yeah, I've been impressed by York. 20-20 last year, exactly 500, 14-10 in the MAC Commonwealth. We've already talked about their schedule is loaded with ranked teams and teams that were in NCAA regional play last year. Line drive to center. Good read by O'Kelly McWilliams, the 4th, to come on and make the grab basically on a jog. That ball was hit hard by Connor Pickle, but it is the first out of the inning.
You like the ball being in front of you in that situation where you can read it a little bit easily. They always tell you to make sure you can keep it in front. Now 1 out. Obviously, if you're Lynchburg, from a pitching perspective, you want it to be almost spotless from here on.
You got to be really sharp. It was a sharp breaking ball, but missed the plate. 1-0 count on Chris Bettler, the junior. He's 2 for 3. The walk in there as well. Some impressive box scores coming up for these York College Spartans. I think they're going to sleep pretty well tonight. It'll be 2 tomorrow. Our first game tomorrow at 11 a.m., Evan. So an earlier start time. And then the doubleheader scheduled for 2, but you know how those work. It's basically just 30 or 45 minutes after the conclusion of the first one.
Another day at the ballpark, though. You got to love it.
Another day, another long day. Gavin Collins will track down a foul ball. Yeah, I'm excited. It does end up being a long day, but it's fun watching a lot of baseball, learning more about this team, learning more about both teams, really. But this Lynchburg team, I know you and I are excited for what they can do this season. Is there a weight on the shoulders after being national champions? Probably, but I would argue it's probably a good pressure and a self-applied kind of pressure. Ooh, bunt attempt that jammed the hitter. Rollins dove for it, missed on the first attempt, tried to recapture, did not get to it in time. That's going to be a base hit bunt single for Bettler that I don't even think he really wanted to bunt it. I think it was self-defense as that fastball was running in on his body, and he ends up getting the bat on it and getting it between the lines for what's going to go in the books as a strange-looking single.
Yeah, as a pitcher, that's tough, too, because your momentum is carrying you one way. Got to get the throw off to first, but I think if he doesn't go into that slide, he's probably getting a pretty easy throw for an out.
Yeah, in hindsight, Rollins probably would have been better off just letting it bounce and picking it up on the second or third hop or as it rolled to him. I think in the moment he was torn between trying to dive after that ball head first or trying to wait on it. And in the end, it ends up being a problem for Lynchburg. We'll see how costly of a problem. 0-1 count with 1 out. Runners on first and second. Hitter is the catcher, DeWeese. He's got 2 hits. Bunch of guys with multiple hits for York. I think it's Elzinga, Teneni, Pickle, Bettler, and DeWeese, all with multiple hits.
Talk about Elzinga and Teneni, too, coming back from last year. It's going to help York a ton.
It's another hit for York. DeWeese ripping this ball into left. Bryce Demery got to it, offloaded to the cut man, in this case Gavin Collins, in time. And now it's bases loaded with one out. The hits keep coming for York. 15 of them in the game.
It's hard to double up Lynchburg in that category, but today they have done a great job of not being afraid to swing. Sometimes against squads who have those high ERAs, we know Lynchburg always really top 5, top 10 last season. You can be a little hesitant coming in to the game, but they did their research. They knew what was coming, and to get Arrington out of the game earlier rather than later, it's helping the Spartans.
Yeah, Arrington went 5+. As we said, he did pitch into the 6th inning, but did not record an out. Relieved by Austin Riney, and then Dominic Rollins is the third arm that Lynchburg has used. Chat going on at the mound with Sean Pokerock, the catcher, and Dominic Rollins. There is double barrel action in the Lynchburg bullpen. Might even been a third arm getting loose in there as well. So options are available. It is a 2-run deficit right now for Lynchburg. 8-6 is the York lead. Double play gets you out of it here if you're Lynchburg. A pop up or a punch out also preferable right now. Rollins is set. Deep breath, fires. Breaking ball upstairs. Corners are in for the Hornets. Middle is double play depth.
Talked about how many contributors are on this York squad. 7 guys with 20-plus RBIs last season, and so it's spread out throughout that lineup.
There was a better location on that pitch, but also a ball. 2-0 count. Hitter's the 9-hole man, shortstop, Luke Moser. He does not have a hit in this game. He has grounded into a double play. That was the first batter Austin Riney faced in the 6th inning. Here comes the pitch from Rollins. Also a miss. Got to go after him here, 3-0. No place to put him. Count says 2-1. I had it wrong. 2-1 count. I think he actually called that a strike, Evan.
That spot has been contested all game long. Lots of back and forth.
Another fastball. Good spot, low at the knees. Just off, though. Now the count is 3-1.
It's better patience from Luke Moser, too, especially being in the spot where you know you have one out. You can afford to take a pitch or two.
It's already a 3-hit inning for York. They have not scored, though. Rollins coming after Mosier. Line drive, right side. That's through. 1 run will score. Possible play at the plate. Just 90 feet advancing there for York. They do add on an insurance run. 9-6. The York advantage now. 3 straight base hits. 4 in the inning for the Spartans. And the inning will continue with 1 out.
It's all you need, station to station. And it's a situation here where you're trying to just rely on Rollins to stay out there. You know it's a 3-game series this weekend. And so as Coach Beasley goes to the mound, obviously you want guys to have those opportunities. It is early in the season and time to prove yourself, but we've seen a few growing pains today for the Hornets.
Dominic Rollins will give the baseball up. We'll greet the new arm in just a moment. It's the top of the 9th here at Fox Field in Lynchburg. York leading 9-6.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Hi, Mara Willis. How are you? Pretty good.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here, Lynchburg is that something, it becomes a family. It doesn't matter how long ago you had your professor, they still remember you and they remember all of the hard work that you put in. They're always there for you and they always want to do the best that they can to help you succeed. Here you learn how to love one another regardless of what's going on or what you believe. You leave here better than what you came in. It's what the school's really good at doing.
Fourth pitcher of the game for Lynchburg will be Sam Allheit, another lefty out of the bullpen for the Hornets. He enters with bases loaded, 1 out. His team down by 3. Leadoff man, Lucas Pendergast up for York. Allheit gets a swing and miss on his first delivery. Off to a good start right here. 0-1 is the count, Evan.
Now the 6th time through the lineup, too. We've seen lots of extended offense from York. As we said, now 16 hits on the day. Doesn't always show up in the stats, but today the Spartans have put on a hitting show.
It really has been impressive. They've had some good two-strike hitting in there. They've had some moments where they've swung at the first pitch. A little bit of everything and from up and down the lineup here as Allheit kicks and fires. There's a line drive past the leaping Brandon Garcia for hit number 17. 2 runs are in for York. The Spartans are really trying to break this thing open here in the top of the 9th. 11-6 the lead after a 2 RBI single from Lucas Pendergast.
Make that 4 straight now for York, too. They have been spraying it left and right. I think Garcia's going to want that one back, but obviously that's a play that you don't expect your shortstop to make. Just over his glove.
Yeah, I thought Garcia did well to get close to it. In hindsight, do you maybe try to backtrack a little bit and run towards the outfield, hope you get that ball as it's looping down maybe, but it was a true line drive, so even that's probably not going to work. It's just another base hit for this York team that is really banging it around here today. And I think it's going to be a very interesting day tomorrow in a doubleheader affair where you know you're going to have to use a lot of pitchers already. Maybe using different arms against York is the way to go, as Allheit gets strike 1 there with a sharp fastball in the outer half.
Well, you know it's going to be a big rotation going into this weekend, and I think today is just proven this is a big battle. Lynchburg pitching.
Ground ball right side. Hyatt gets the first. Garcia over to Sam Allheit, who is covering nicely, but the second one not in time. It is out number 2 of the inning.
Now batting,
We'll
number
go
27,
as a
Robbie
3-6 fielder's choice in the books, and here comes the dangerous Robbie Elzinga. He hits with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Elzinga's got 2 doubles in the game. Sam Allheit is a 6'1 senior from Chesapeake. Had 2 appearances last year, 1.2 innings pitched. So another guy with not a big sample size coming in to the season, but he's been pitching more and will be counted on for more this year. Skips that one in. Pokerot gets it. He's going to tag the runner out. Big rebound off the back padding here at Fox helped out Sean Pokerot as he will get an out to end the 9th inning, but York does more damage. The Spartans on top, 11-6. Last chance to dance for Lynchburg coming up in the bottom of the 9th.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Ben Jones leads off a ninth inning where Lynchburg needs 5 to tie, 6 to win. 11-6 is the score. Hornets don't lose at Fox very often, but York in line to do it here if they can hold on to a 5-run advantage.
Well, the insurance in that last inning is so big, too, because I think it gives you more confidence on the mound, not having to worry about working your options around. We know what Kennedy has been able to do back in that 8th inning. And so now, obviously, you do have a tough part of Lynchburg's lineup up, but a very big cushion on 17 hits. York getting it done.
17 hits, 9 runners left on. You could call it a slight base running misplay there at the end of the last inning to get out at the plate there. And that is one where knowing your ballpark comes in handy, because if you play here at Lynchburg a lot, you know it can ricochet back off the brick wall or the padding really quickly to the catcher, especially on a ball like that has gone straight back. So, again, I mean, it's tough to call it a base running miscue. Maybe it's bad luck. I don't know. But York with another play where they got out on the bases. And it was Sean Pokerock that picked that ball and threw out the runner at second. Lynchburg has turned a double play in this one. So I guess to sum all that up, for Lynchburg, it actually could be worse. York could have more runs. 17 hits. We got to go back and see when the last time the Lynchburg team gave up a total like that. It's been a while. Teams have scored double-digit runs against the Hornets, but just the sheer volume of hits. It's a lot. 2-1 count for Ben Jones. Got a sniff there, but didn't pull the trigger, and now should be 3-1 with nobody out in the bottom of the ninth.
As hard as it is to think this way, too, it's just about one batter at a time. You can't worry about the number on the scoreboard.
I think you're right. I think the good ones are able to do that, to take it one batter, one pitch at a time. They are almost robotic in the sense that they don't really worry about the score. I think everybody's human. It's natural to think about the score, but I think the best don't think about it as much. Full count to Ben Jones. He rips another one into right. Let's see if he got enough of it. Right fielder going back, and another solid grab from Connor Pickle. That was right at the warning track again. Another ball that Lynchburg has hit deep to the outfield. Some of them have just been at outfielders. Some of them haven't quite been deep enough. And it's one out for Lynchburg here in the bottom of the ninth.
First few steps were really good from Pickle, just knowing where to go with that ball. And sometimes you wonder, too, as it starts heating up into April and May, maybe it'll carry it a little bit more. You know, wind can have a big impact, but obviously just feels like for Lynchburg, they haven't struggled that much from a hitting perspective. It's just those hits that York are getting down, and obviously they have capitalized when they've had runners on base.
0-1 count to Eric Hyatt. Swing and miss. Now it's 0-2 on a guy who is hitless on the day. He's had 4 very productive plate appearances, walked 3 times, and a sac fly in there as well for Eric Hyatt. That was in inning 5. Lynchburg scored 1 in the 3rd, 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. That pitch from Kennedy misses. 1-2 count. Just scanning last year, Lynchburg gave up 16 hits to a very offensive-minded Guilford team. That was in game 1 of the doubleheader. Surrendered 15 against Pfeiffer early in the season. Hyatt will lift this one to the right side. Right fielder and second baseman converge, and it gets pulled in by Lucas Pendergast for out number 2.
Guilford was known as an offensive team, too, going back to that 16 hits, and it's, I think, even crazier to be like, well, how did Lynchburg win that game? And I think it's because their offense was just as efficient last year, and again, it might not be from a hitting perspective, but working those counts, getting walks, hit by pitches start to really add up. And now Lynchburg down to the final batter.
See if Bryce Demery can keep it alive here for the Hornets. Does not offer at the first delivery from Ethan Kennedy, who has looked sharp out of the bullpen for York.
You see he's wearing left field on his pants right now, just some of that dirt.
Yeah.
Obviously, every game you have to expect you're going to get a little dirty, but that outfield has been soaked from some of the rain the last couple of days.
Should be better out there tomorrow with sunshine and a little breeze today. More time to drain. No rain expected between now and tomorrow's game. 11 a.m. first pitch. And we'll have 2 tomorrow. 1-2 count on Bryce Demery. So it looks like the 17 hits today, Evan, are going to be the most Lynchburg has given up in a game since April 16th of 2022.
Wow.
Got to go back actually into the 2022 season to find the last time Lynchburg gave up this many hits. That was actually in a game against Guilford there as well, where Guilford banged out 20 hits in that one. 2-2 count on Bryce Demery. 2 outs. Kennedy is set. Here's the pitch. Demery, swing and miss. Ball in the dirt. Not going to take off. And that's how the game will end. A big upset as the York Spartans come to Lakeside Drive and take down Lynchburg 11-6. York wins it on 17 hits. Solid defensive work for the Spartans, and Lynchburg will have to try again tomorrow. These two teams will meet for a doubleheader beginning at 11 a.m. Some good performances today from Lynchburg, but it's not enough as the Hornets fall to 4-3. York 1-0, undefeated to start the brand new campaign. What a game, Evan.
Well, you talk about disposition in sports a lot, and I think it's going to be a big test for Lynchburg coming out. You have all this expectation with Fox Field. You feel like you're invincible, and boom, first game back, you get this result. And we know York earned it. Obviously, they came out firing, but the question now is, can Lynchburg come into tomorrow and just continue to trust what they have? Because it is not an assets problem, Kyle. They have the right pieces of the puzzle. It's just working together. Obviously, it's still March. A lot of season left, but great work from the Spartans.
The expectations of playing at home at Fox, and then also the expectations of being the 2023 national champions. You know, it's like one of those things, Evan, where if you have any kind of a bad game or a slip up, everybody assumes that something is wrong. But York, as you said, earned it. Good ball club for the Spartans. Looking forward to seeing these two playing again tomorrow. We hope you will join us at the ballpark or on LHSN. That good home run from Sean Pokerock. All is not lost for Lynchburg. We get to try it again tomorrow. Hornets at 4-3. York 1-0. Big thanks to our LHSN team, who was excellent as always. The big O's fan, Evan Gavin. We got, so if you're in the mix too, Sam Rice on the direction and production, the replays from Laura Porto, and Evan, I can't wait to do it again tomorrow.
Well, that's the great thing about baseball season. We've got a lot left.
We do have a lot left. We'll see how the Hornets can bounce back. And we'll say so long for this Saturday. York wins it 11-6. You watched it all live on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.